How you doing tonight, sister? Ten, plan on having a pretty nice conversation tonight. We're going to be talking about this reparation program that they're having up there in Providence, Rhode Island, which is supposed to be for Black people, but it's also included Native Americans, Black immigrants, and also white folks can also apply for it as well. And also, we're going to be talking about Russian, a Russian politician over here, and talking about Black music is contributing to the actual downfall of Russia. So those are going to be topics for tonight. Peace, DJ. I see you over there. And YouTube, you say you're gonna be over there for a little bit, so okay. Yeah, definitely don't make sure you come back up in the spot too as well tonight, bro. We're gonna need you over here in the Twitter space as well too. So definitely make sure you come through. Ray, True, what's going on? Ray, let me go ahead and send you the co-host invite. We're gonna be starting this thing up shortly. We're gonna be starting it up shortly. The Ghost of Malcolm, what's going on? Appreciate the tweet that you did earlier. The tweet the space out, Ghost of Malcolm. Definitely appreciate that. Ray, I sent you the co-host invite, so whenever you get it. So we got Ray True, the Ghost of Malcolm, Miss D up in the spot. Ray, what's going on, man?
What's good, man? I'll be a little quiet this days, so I'm trying to wash dishes and stuff, but we could just
I mean, I know you ain't gonna be washing dishes the whole space.
no, no, yeah, like the kids and stuff like that.
Oh,
Got school tomorrow, so I'm gonna be in and out.
okay, no problem, man. We're gonna have a nice space tonight, man. I know you saw the Russians over there hating. How the hell like black people are the reason for your government and your country and everything going to shit, buddy? How about y'all wage the war with your neighbors over there, your cousins, and now you want to put the blame on us for the reason why that y'all doing suicides and got crime out the wazoo, and that's Black Americans' fault somehow, man. You don't get on out of here with that nonsense. Don't get on out of here with that. Oh, it's our fault. It's our fault that your people are criminals. We 7,000 miles across the water, and it's our fault. Hey, Professor, what's going on, man?
You already know how it goes, man. If they can't find, hey, what's up?
Nothing.
What's up, good? What's good, brothers, man? Hey, I read that article, man. I couldn't help but to laugh.
I know, right? Hey, man, but we gonna be touching up, and I know you saw this little con game they got going up there in Rhode Island and Providence, where they supposed to have a reparation program, and damn, they include everybody up in it. You got Native Americans, you got everybody. Native Americans can get it. White folks, if they got a certain income level, can apply for it. Black immigrants can get it. I'm like, God damn, like, what's really happening here?
I can't understand why is it that our people can't get these reparations just by ourselves. But we the only group that has not gotten any reparations in this country. Everybody else has received reparations. Last time I checked, Native Americans have reparations. They have theirs. I don't understand why they got to be included in.
I don't know either. True, you got your hand up. Go ahead and unmute your mic. This is gonna be a good conversation tonight, y'all.
Okay, I was just sitting up there wondering, what did y'all read today that said Russians, white folks can apply for reparations?
No, we didn't say Russians. We talk about over in Rhode Island and Providence. They have a program that they setting up a reparation program where it says that in Providence you got it's a reparation program supposed to be for black people. They also have Native Americans included in that, as well as regular white folks, depending on their income. They also too can apply for that. And I'll put that up in the jumbotron. Now you got over there in Russia, you got Russian government officials blaming Black Americans music, blaming Black American music for the actual downfall of their society, for the suicides and the crime and this and that. It's not the fault that they over there fighting a war with they next door neighbors Ukraine, but somehow it's hip hop music and stuff that's responsible for the deterioration of their society.
Yeah, it sucks because I think that fucking Jamaica just tried to pull the same fucking trick back.
Is this Shantae?
Yes, it's me. What's up, Newstoter? How are you?
What's up? Now, I mean, you changed. I'm like, it took.
What's up, Ray? How are you?
What's up now? It took a little minute to catch the voice. I'm like, is that Shantae?
It's Shantae. Yeah, it's me, y'all. Hey, y'all.
Shantae, I'm gonna put that up in the jumbotron right now. So anybody that wants to click it, and I'm gonna read the actual article as well too. So we finna get ready to get started.
You know why they did it, though. Because over there in Jamaica, the people that they got like a little rap group, and his ass been over there cutting up shit. I wish I can come back and give y'all the name of the person that was terrorizing the whole villages over there in Africa, and they start blaming us. So what the fuck happened up over there? You know, white people take over everything, whether it's Jamaica or whatever. And the next thing you know, we get the blame for what the fuck they done. 100 years later. How long rap been out? 50, 60 years? 100 years?
A long time.
Yeah. And so now all of a sudden it's like, let's put that on them. Like, that's the shit that they doing is played out, is corny and is whack now. If you was going to blame us for anything, y'all should have been did that shit a long time ago. It's a young boy that's over there in Jamaica. He sing rap. Not sing rap. He do rap, and he is terrorizing the shit out of people in the town. And I don't know what the fuck we got to do with that. I'm gonna send y'all that. When I find out this little nigga name, there's everybody in Jamaica, my little Jamaican friends, these motherfuckers, they be singing his shit. They be like, yo, he be going around, him and his friends go around, tormenting people, going to their house. Did y'all hear about this?
I don't know if I heard about that, Shantae. Honestly, I'm not sure if I heard about it, but go ahead and send it to me though. Go ahead. I don't know if I'm following you.
I'm gonna give it to you today. I'm gonna give it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, if you got it, you can put it in the jumbotron and whatnot. So I definitely go ahead and give it to me so I can go ahead and update me. Let me know what I'm missing out on because I didn't see it, but any news that's out there, we want to know about it. So definitely go ahead and send it my way. Ray, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead, Ray, and I'm gonna go ahead and start digging into this. We're gonna touch on both of these actual topics here. You got these Rooskies over there. I don't know if they drunk off they vodka or whatever. They cutting up and whatnot, but we're gonna go in on their ass.
I was asked the professor. He said, why I think he said something notional. Why Native Americans get it because a lot of people don't know that there's a gang of white people that can identify as being Native American. So obviously, anytime we want to talk about a reparations bill, that's their way of kind of tying themselves into our claim.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot about that because there are a lot of white folks that do try to claim themselves Native American, and that's a shame too, considering that they damn near wiped out all the damn Native Americans from today. They did. Who was it? Andrew Jackson, who damn near wiped them all off the face of the earth. I mean, these white folks damn near killed all the Indians, and that's the same thing that they, of course, been trying to do to us for years. To do the same thing they did to the Native Americans.
Hey, real quick, Professor, I may send you a co-host invite because DJ he's over there on YouTube. So you mind if I send you a co-host invite? Or you just want to say as a speaker?
You can send me the invite.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you right now, and you don't have to do it all night, but I'm gonna just go ahead and give it to you for right now, whatever. Let me go ahead, y'all, and get into this because I know this. Everybody wants to hear this and hear this nonsense and whatnot. You got nonsense right here in America, and you got nonsense. Damn, I don't know how far Russia is. I'm saying at least 7,000 miles away, but you got these boys over there talking noise and whatnot as well too. So I guess I'll go ahead and start on the actual reparation program that they have going on in Providence, Rhode Island. And then as always, we can just touch up on the other article as well, and we could just dig in. Y'all feel free to go ahead and dig on and touch on any topic that y'all want to regarding these two topics tonight. So let me go ahead and get this. I'm reading it off my phone, so I didn't print this one up. So as always, I got to watch out for the advertisement and stuff like this. It says this is from the Washington Post. It's curated by the Newstoter.com platform. It's also in the Jumbotron. So if you guys want to actually see that, you want to read it yourself or whatever, or share it or click it or whatever, it's in the Jumbotron. It says it's a pretty lengthy article, so I'm going to just go ahead. I'm not going to try to read it all. I'm going to just highlight the points of it. But Providence offers reparations to address racism. White people can apply. The city is attempting to rectify its history of discrimination against Black and Native American people through reparations, but half of its white residents could qualify. Providence, Rhode Island is joining the ranks of cities trying to rectify the history of discrimination against Black residents through reparation programs. Mayor Jorge Alariza, with Black residents by his side, recently signed a $10 million budget for the Providence Municipal Reparations Program. The radical thing we did was put Black voices in the center of the policy making, the mayor said in the interview. While the mayor has focused on the program and how the program will help the city's Black and Native American residents, there's a hitch to it. It's race neutral. Black and Native American Providence residents qualify automatically, but the city has established a separate income criteria that can include about half its white residents. That has angered critics who say it is unclear how much of the money will flow to Black residents who make up 12% of the population and have been harmed by systematic racism. This is a short term response to a 400-year problem because it makes people feel better, said Justice Gaines, a local poet and community organizer. My big fear is that there are now white people in our state who could say we already gave them reparations and nothing more needs to be done. More than a dozen states, including New Jersey, New York, Illinois, are considering creating reparation committees to address the effects of racist policies. Evanston, Illinois has already established what has been heralded as the first government program to address systematic racism through reparations. California launched a reparations committee, which is analyzing how much the state would have to spend to close its racial wealth gap. The tension in Providence illustrates the difficult path ahead for those efforts and groups pushing for a national reparations program to compensate the descendants of enslaved people. Providence began developing a reparations program in 2020 after the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. As protesters hit the street across the country, the mayor signed an executive order creating Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparations Committee and tasked the African American Ambassador Group with issuing a report that will lay the groundwork for reparations. There was a lot of anger in Providence, said the mayor. What we want to do is, as a city, was to make sure that we made the most of the moment to really address some of the long-standing racial issues in our country. In March 2021, the African American Ambassador Group released a 194-page report detailing the city and state's deep involvement with the Atlantic slave trade, as well as 4 centuries of racist policies that robbed the state's Black and Indigenous residents of economic security. Those policies created the current climate between the communities and the white residents, the report said, adding that there should be a formal apology for African American enslavement. Over a 5-year period ending in 2020, the median income for white Providence households was $54,272, compared to $41,093 for Black households and $23,894 for American Indian or Alaska Native households, according to U.S. Census data. In Rhode Island, the disparity between Black and white wealth is vast, the report states. While there are numerous public policy and private investment strategies to help close the wealth gap, an important starting point, particularly in Providence and Rhode Island, would be to recognize our shared history of complicity. The report also called for the creation of a reparations program, which officials approved earlier this year. The $10 million effort will fund various social programs, including workforce training, home ownership, and financial literacy courses, and small business accelerators. But it is financed by federal COVID-19 recovery dollars that must be spent in a race-neutral manner. To qualify, applicants must be a Providence resident, check this out, of either Native American or Black ancestry, including Black immigrants who are not descendants of American slavery. Residents earning less than half of the area median income, or less than about $50,000 a year, or are living in certain neighborhoods will also qualify. That's likely to include many of the city's white residents, who make up about a third of the population. Native Americans make up less than 1% of the local population. Even with its race-neutral parameters, the program will help close a local racial wealth gap, said Larry Warner, the Chief Community Impact and Equity Officer at the United Way of Rhode Island, which helped develop the reparations program and will be distributing some of the money. I don't think it's going to be a problem if race isn't lost in the conversation, Warner said. And I think you can't have a conversation about equity without including a conversation about race, because at the end of the day, it's systematic and structural racism that created the conditions that communities are either still challenged by or recovering from. But even some closely associated with the formation of the program are concerned about how it's being described. Calling it reparations is dangerous, said Donnie Ritchie, a clinical assistant professor of family medicine at Brown University and a member of the African American Ambassador Group that wrote the report. The group, launched during the pandemic, was focused on tackling the structural racism contributing to higher coronavirus mortality rates for the city's Black residents, Ritchie said. That focus changed after Floyd's murder as communities across the country began discussing reparations, she said. I just kept saying, don't conflate what we're doing with reparations. Just don't do it, Richie said. You can't just throw around 10 million for this and that program and call it reparations, because then it will have been done without ever really having a conversation about what repairing the harm would look like. You're just throwing terms around. Supporters of a small scale reparations say they are starting a conversation what could lead to a robust national program later. But the tractor says it makes making a complex conversation more difficult while reducing pressure on lawmakers to take action needed to address the need for reparations. They also they're also worried of programs that don't include direct cash payments to descendants of enslaved people, which activists have argued should be a central element of reparations and was a cornerstone of reparations program for those affected by the U.S. internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. People will say it's just a catalyst. We're just starting a conversation, said Richie. But no, that conversation will start and will end with this. And once that little bit of money is spent, people will go, yeah, that program didn't work. Why would we do reparations again? Local critics of Providence programs say some Black and Native American residents and advocates struggle to have a voice in the process. The leaders of the tribal nation, the state's only federally recognized tribe, repeatedly attempted to be part of the effort, including unsuccessfully trying to contact the mayor and the city council, said Bella Noka, a tribal leader. Once again, they stole the tribe voice. Noka said, we didn't ask for this program. What we want is land return. We want access to the ocean. We want you to stop digging up our burial places and erasing our people. This is just a way for them to be able to say in a few years, or we solved our Black and Native problem by giving them a bit more money. The effort will function as a, hold on one second. Sorry about that. The effort will function as an anti-poverty program that will help the poor and bridge some of the city's wealth gap, said April Brown, the director of Racial and Environmental Justice Committee in Providence. But it's not even the racial gap, because there are way more poor white people. Hold on one thing, because this thing froze up. But it's way more poor white people living in Providence than anybody else, she said. Reparations mean that you're repairing something. There there is nothing that will be repaired by what the Reparation Committee put forth. While it might not resemble what some people hope, defenders of the program say they are confident the influx of dollars will start helping struggling communities. The solutions and visions for the program were informed by leaders of the Black community, said the mayor, adding that it resulted in a type of investment that would not have been made otherwise. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna cover. It was a little bit more, but I think we pretty much get the gist of what's going on with this actual program here. And once again, it's something that's just strictly not for Black people. I say that if you want to give reparations to the Native Americans, go ahead and give them a separate reparation pack. But this right here should be exclusively only for Black Americans, because we're talking about their involvement in the actual transatlantic slave trade in the 400 years and everything else that they put the Black people in Rhode Island through. So I don't really see the need of this, because whenever we have something for Native Americans, it's solely for Native Americans. You don't ever get a joint thing with Native Americans and Black Americans. And on top of that, now we hear the rhetoric talking about, well, it's actually more poor white people here and this and that. So when you start throwing that poor white people thing around, that means that the poor white people are going to be the ones that's going to get the money. And let's be honest, what the hell is $10 million? $10 million ain't going to do anything for anybody. And it sure as hell not going to do anything for the descendants of slaves. So I just find this as another hustle. This is like the continuation of the Evanston thing. The only reparation, and it hasn't been finalized, but the only thing in terms of, I like the way kind of California is moving, because they are making it strictly about the descendants of American slavery. And that's how it should be. It should not be like just a united nation of everybody. So now we're going to have the thing where you're going to talk, well, it's more poor white folks and it is poor Black people and this and that. And the only reason it would be more poor white folks up there is simply because they make up a larger population. I'm sure if it was just as many Black folks up in, and we know it can't be as many Black folks in Providence as it's going to be white, they would outnumber the whites in terms of the poverty level. So I don't like the way this is set up. It's definitely a con. It's definitely a hustle. It's definitely something that they should definitely. And the worst thing about it is when you always get black people to go ahead. You had black people sitting up on this little thing, coming back to the mayor and whatnot. Whenever you have something like that, then they can go ahead and point back when it fails. Say, well, we did get involvement from black people in the city. We did get a black group to come up and step up and this and that. And the black people, they okayed it. They was all right with it. It sounds like the goddamn it sounds like the damn the criminal justice bill and stuff with Biden was passing and stuff like that. They always go back and talk about, well, we had black preachers and we had black congressmen and black this and black and that went ahead and they were okay with it. So something very, very, very dangerous, I think, in my estimation. They need to go ahead and get rid of that. Like I say, $10 million ain't anything anyways. It's COVID relief money. So when it's COVID relief money, like they said, they have to make it race neutral. That means you're going to have a bunch of white people and you're going to have a bunch of different other people in there too. They already said you're going to have, you got to split it up with Native Americans. You got to split it up with white people. You got to split it up with black immigrants as well too. So what's going to be left of the actual descendants of slavery? Professor, you want to add something to that real quick?
I'd say Newstoter, man. I'm just really not feeling this. What they're trying to do, man. I just don't feel like they should add any other groups to our claims. And I'm talking about on state, city, national level, whatever the case may be. Anytime we talk about our claims for Black Americans, it should just be about Black American freedmen because of what has happened to us in the U.S. chattel slavery system. This should not include anybody else. Everybody else should make their own claims, such as the Native Americans can file their own claims, the trans or whoever. Everybody needs to file their own claims. I'm sick of people leeching off the back of Black Americans. This needs to stop. We need to stop these people from claiming stuff that don't belong to them. It belongs to us.
Yeah, and it's $10 million measly dollars. Like what? I mean, $10 million might be good for a group of maybe 100 people or something like that. But what in the hell is $10 million going to do? And I'm not exactly sure what the size of Providence is and whatnot, what the actual population is. But $10 million would be split up amongst who knows how many people. You could be talking about 30,000, 40, 50,000 people. I don't know. How much are these people going to actually get back? Are they going to get $100 back, $50 back? I mean, is it even worth the time? I mean, I just can't imagine. I know Providence is not that small, that tiny. So I just don't see what's the point of splitting up $10 million. And then, like I said, something that's going to be, because whenever they do something for Native Americans, it's always just for Native Americans. So now you got to, and this is the Joe Biden talk right here, where we go, I'm for reparations as long as you're going to include Native Americans and stuff like that. The black people, when they saw them forming this, they should say, no, we can't go along with this. If this is not going to be just for the descendants of slaves, then no, this is a fail. Go ahead and take your COVID money, come back to us when we can go ahead and fund this with some different type of money. You're saying that this can only be race neutral and this and that. Well, no, the whole thing about this is not a race neutral thing. This is not a lineage neutral thing right here. So this is strictly for a certain segment of people. It's not to be included for everybody. Like I say, I don't have an issue with Native Americans getting their land back. It's wrong to be digging up their ancestors' burial sites and stuff like that. So go ahead and set something up in place for these people as well, too, since you came in and took the land and this and that and doing everything to it. But at the same time, don't include any and everybody in the same group. That's just not fair. That's not right. Don't include black immigrants in it. Black immigrants are not a part of the actual American slave trade. So they can't be included in something that they actually had no part about. That makes absolutely no sense. And we got to stop with this whole term reparations. We just had a space last night, and part of it, we were talking about climate reparations, that they're just running this name down and just trying to take as much away from it by putting everything you talk about now in terms of any kind of money exchange or giving somebody a settlement or something. It's called reparations. It's completely watering it down where it won't have any kind of impact, any kind of punch down the road. And we need to go ahead and start calling them out. Like, stop labeling everything as reparation, because you give somebody a settlement or a lawsuit or there's exchange of cash or something. That's not reparations. All of a sudden, like, that has become like the sexy term. It's just reparation. And this sure as hell ain't reparation. Like I say, California is on the right move. I saw my man Jay, and I think one of y'all, I don't know if it was Ray or Professor, one of y'all posted earlier, tweeted out that Newsom and them are trying to get something like 200 some $1,000 per descendant of American slavery, like that's what they're trying to, that's what they're talking about in the committee. That's reparations. Okay, that's reparative. That's for the descendant of slaves. That's something that I think we all can get behind and back like that. I know you may have some of us say, well, that ain't enough money and this and that. Listen, the median income in the United States is not 200 some $1,000. Okay, so if they were to go ahead and give the people out there in California, I know California is expensive as hell and this and that too, but still, that's something that's worthwhile. That's something that could change the way you're living. Okay,
that was me, brother.
okay, that was you. I know it was. I know it was you, and then I think my man Jay went ahead and DM me that as well too. So that's something that's actually worthwhile. That's something that means something. But taking down $10 million and splitting it up between who knows how many thousands of people, and when it's all said and done, and when you take the taxes out and everything else, you may be looking at $100 or something like that. And then, and not only that, it's a great chance that the white people, because they already started that talk about, well, it's more poor white people. You always hear that kind of stuff when you start talking about poverty and this and that or whatever. Talk about, well, it's actually more poor white people in the country than black. Yeah, because y'all outnumber us, 5 to 10 to 1 or something like that. So yeah, it probably would be more poor white people.
Hey, Newstoter, that's almost like that same argument that damn, I was trying to think of it. It's another argument that they like to use. White, I think it's like white males are being more discriminated against than anybody. I think that's another one they like to throw out there. And I can't understand that, because if you're the people that set up the system, then how is it that you deserve reparations? And how are you being affected by any of this? I'm not understanding how they have a claim to anything in this country when everything was set up by your people.
Facts. I mean, to me, you don't deserve anything, because at the same time, you still control all of the wealth. Because when this country was founded, you don't control 100% of the wealth in this country. Now you may only control 98% or 97 or 96. You still control the wealth. You still write the laws and everything else. So to sit up here and say that you're being the most discriminated, nonsense. To me, that's just another cop out, man. That's just another excuse and another lie. And like I said, the people up there, the black people up there in Providence, they need to go ahead, and they should have never okayed this. They should go ahead and say straight up, now you got them saying this and that. But at the time when they was writing this bill, they should have told the mayor, like, straight up, like, well, no, why even go along with something like this when you know it's going to come back and bite you in the ass? We're like, no, mayor, this is not right. Okay, all of these people, like I say, if you want to do something for the Native Americans and this and that, like, we have no ill will against them. Go ahead and do something, but do something separate for them. If you want to do something for black immigrants, do something separate for them. If you want to do something for poor white people, do something separate for them. But when it comes to this reparation, and you're going to tag reparation in it, okay, and you want to use black people and you want to use us as a headline to catch everybody's attention and this and that and pat yourself on the back, no. You're going to do this only for the descendants of actual American chattel slavery and nobody else. You're not going to tie us to any other group. You're not going to try to guilt us and talk about this and that. It ain't fair, this and that. You're not going to sit up here and talk about that. It's more poor white people in this city, in this county, this state than us. You're not going to do any of that. But it takes that takes having a backbone, standing up saying we can't go along for that. And too oftentimes that black people want to get something done, they go ahead and they bend and they cave, and the white folks know they're going to bend and they're going to cave. They know they're not going to put up any fight. They know they're going to go ahead on the first piece of paper, legislation, they go ahead and pass, bill or whatever. They know that these black folks are going to go along right with it. So they already know that for the most part, they got them a test dummy, a crash dummy to go ahead and experiment on. No way in hell should they have went along with this. And they should have told the man to take that paper and shove it up his you-know-what. But they didn't do it. So now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. And like the people were saying in the article, we get the feeling that once this go ahead and fail, and people gonna say, well, you know what? We already did reparations, so there's no need to do reparations. No, how many people in the actual city of Everson really call out that reparation? You talk about giving people money to go ahead. You talk about giving them a small amount of money at that to go ahead and get a loan to buy a house. You're gonna sit up here and give people, and you're gonna give them money strictly for one thing and tell them what they can buy and say, and then label that as reparations. And not only that, you're going to have a lottery to go ahead and pick out X amount of people who are actually going to be have a chance to actually get this money. So the other people sitting in the city and stuff like that, like, well, I wonder why I didn't get mine and this and that. So now we have to have a lottery to determine who's going to actually get reparations. Just totally, just total nonsense, in my opinion, man. Just total nonsense. And like I said, as a people, we just sit here and we go along with this stuff, and it's to our own detriment. You can't keep going along with this, man. And this is what they're trying, and we should know this. They're trying to lay the groundwork right now with everything that we've seen. We've already seen this story played before. And this story was played back in the 60s, and it's called the Civil Rights Movement. They're laying the same groundwork. They did in the 60s. They said, well, you know what? How can we find a way to get wealth back to ourselves? Oh, I know. We can go ahead and we can stick white women in it. We can talk about the feminists, and we can talk about the women's suffrage and all this other stuff. You know, we go ahead and we get our white daughters and our white wives and our white mamas and our white sisters and our white nieces, white cousins. We get them involved in all of this civil rights stuff. Then, you know what? We can go ahead and get this money funded right back to us. And that's exactly what they setting up. And we can't see it. We already had the $5 Indians. They showed us that. Now we're gonna have the $5 Negro. It's still not registering with our people. We still we still just, I don't know what it is. We got to clear the cobwebs out. The people are laying the framework down. They sitting up here in this article we just read. They're telling you poor white people. Okay, that's dangerous when they start talking about poor white people. They're sitting up here laying it down, letting you know exactly how this hustle is about to take place. We've seen this story before. It's like that movie Groundhog Day that was back in the 90s. And Bill Murray, every time he went to sleep and he went about his day and whatnot, he wakes up and he's repeating the same day over and over again. And this is what us as a people, we repeat the same nonsense over and over again, from voting to everything else. They're sitting up in there showing you the poor white people are the white women back in the 60s. And it's still...
You know, brother, man, let's just be honest, man. Our people, for the most part, a lot of our people are still taking on a lot of the assimilation of white culture. They want to be involved. They want to be close. They want to, some kind of way, be affiliated with this white system. It's almost like Black Americans, and not saying all Black Americans, but it's like some of our people want to be able to still fit in. And they don't feel like they deserve better. They don't feel like they deserve to get things on their own. So it's almost like they just got to try to fit in to be at peace, you know, so they don't try to upset these carcassors who they think might come after them or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's like it's just this condition, this mindset that our people are just lost. And they just don't want to fight. And I think we're going to have to find a way to wake our people up, get them out of this mindset that you deserve better. We deserve to get these reparations on our own. We don't want other groups having access to the reparations that belong to us, that's owed to us.
I absolutely agree with you on that, Professor. Like I say, to me, it's just laying it's like having it. Just laying down the actual railroad tracks and stuff like that. It's just laying the groundwork, and we don't see it. We're going along with it. And not only that, we champion a lot of these BS reparation programs and stuff up there. Talk about, well, it's a start. It's better than nothing. And that's exactly what they want us to say. Yeah, it's a start. It's better than nothing. So you go ahead, and these folks here, like I said, and in the article it said itself, they don't know how much money that the actual white people are going to get. If the Black people make up 12% of the population in that city, and like I said, I don't know the actual population of Providence. If they make up 12% of the actual population there, and they're saying that there's more poor white people there, okay, then you got to split it with, like I said, the Native Americans and Black immigrants. What is your share going to be? They're using your name like we always are, like the mascot for this type of stuff, the symbol. They use us, and then everybody else gets it. And they're repeating the same step right here, the same madness, the same craziness. And I just, like I say, after a while, you just wonder, when will our people ever get tired? Do we ever get tired of being used? I mean, it's like that old song my pops used to listen to. Damn, what's your boy name? I cannot think of the name of that song. It's basically "Use Me Till I'm All Used Up." What's his name that died a few years ago? I cannot think of his name, but Bill Weathers. Basically use me, because it basically use me till I'm all used up. Like, I mean, come on, man. It's It's ridiculous here, man. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this Russian story as well too. Russia over here talking noise about Black Americans. They in a damn war with they cousins over here, and they want to sit up here and blame the destruction and the decline of their society on Black music. Okay, let's go ahead and cover this real quick, y'all. And like I said, we can go ahead and get back to the actual reparation conversation as well too. So y'all know how we do. We swing it back and forth. If you want to go ahead and talk about it, that's fine. I'm gonna just let me give a shout out to Brother Makutu also for his contribution on Cash App. And this is from the Daily Beast, curated on the Newstoter.com platform. I'm gonna just give you guys a little heads up. A lot of these Ruski names I'm not gonna even be trying to pronounce right here. Putin ally blames crisis on rise of Black U.S. music stars. He calls descendants of African American slaves. In a sign of times of Vladimir Putin's twisted Russian regime, a regional governor has backed by the State of Doom after saying the descendants of African American slaves are to blame for the country's growing crisis. The governor of the region said Russian society was collapsing as exemplified by the rising rate of suicide and depression among young people, and it can all be traced back to the popularity of Black American stars in the music industry. In a bizarre rant on his official Telegram channel, he described a gaping hole of emptiness at the center of the Russian culture, which he argued was not the result of poverty or war or rampant corruption, but an underestimation of the importance of naive national culture. Many of our children are already grown up without knowing or remembering their kindred tribe, he lamented, claiming that they are instead singing songs written by the descendants of African American slaves, often playing the ape and imitating the habits and language, brimming with frankly second rate cultural vulgarity, clinging to the secondariness and being proud of it. Hence the growth of overt spiritual emptiness, depression, suicides, the lack of meaning in life, he wrote. He did not mention Russia's war against Ukraine as a possible reason for the bleak mood in the country. He went on to hint at a growing rift between the ordinary Russians that he blamed on outside forces, claiming that a neglect of naive culture has led to a biblical Cain and Abel situation with brothers pitted against brothers by foreign well wishers who see them as expendable. While his remarks were simultaneously mocked and criticized on social media, the Russian state found nothing offensive in his argument. The deputy chairman of the state committee on culture told the local media there was nothing inflammatory in his comments because he used the term African American. I think depression is connected with the lack of ideology in our country, said. I disagree with the incitement. He used the word African American. The governor acted more politically correct, using literally the American version to designate the race. And besides, the same African American culture occupies a significant part of show business and variety shows. So that's it for that article. And yeah, it has nothing to do that their country is just a bunch of damn degenerates and that they are still communists and that they're still, still with this third world mindset, even though they're supposed to be a first-rate country. They're blaming Black Americans, which they could have always stopped the flow of rap music from coming into their country or whatever, but they didn't do that. So now it's Black Americans' fault, it's Black music fault. For the reason, I guess it's our fault also that you started firing on Ukraine. It's our fault that you're trying to build back your little communist wall over there and start to take back all the countries that won their independence. I get out of here with that nonsense. Ray, go ahead. You got it.
I just wanted to touch on something really quick while we're talking about Russia. So somebody said, so the problem in Russia is the Black music and it's Black people's fault. You touched on a lot of this saying, the Russian people live in a corrupt, poverty-stricken, oppressed society run by an evil dictator, which is obviously Putin, with the full support of a criminal government, but they're trying to blame us. Like I said earlier, bro, they blame us for everything. It don't even matter. I was, I think, yesterday when you were talking about environmental reparations, or was that another space I was there when you were talking about that?
That was you talk the climate reparations. We had that a couple days ago.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. They starting to run together in my head. But yeah, that just shows you, man. They do something for anything, everybody, except for us. That land there.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Professor, go ahead. I see you unmute your mic. Go ahead.
Y'all, let me tell you something. This Russian article, man, I read it earlier and I sent it out. I sent it, retweeted it to Newstoter and other people. and it was just so funny to me. This guy talking about the folks over there committing suicides and shit. I'm like, well, shit, that's what all these damn caucasoids do. And when life gets hard, they go to falling off bridges, jumping off bridges and buildings, and taking the gun and shooting themselves. But hey, you want to blame Black America? Hey, all I can say is thank you for the honor, man. I hope all you caucasoids just jump off bridges. How about that? That's what I say to you, Governor Badam Shakar, as he likes to call himself. This is the guy that made the statement about us having an effect on his people over there. And you can't help but to laugh at this, y'all, because, I mean, Black Americans, we over here trying to make it in America, the so-called greatest nation in the world, and this guy over there in Russia, damn near a communist country again, which I think they never did leave communism. I think they've still always been communism, even after that wall came down. But this guy is blaming us for shit that's going on over there. You just got to love it, y'all. Black Americans, man, we are the most popular people on the face of the earth. And I'm telling you, man, they need to pay us some major reparations for it, because we have a major effect on everybody. That's right.
Yeah, and you can pretty much see, man, the way that, because I mean, Russia, Ukraine, they all neo-Nazi type countries as well, too. Like, I know they were trying to put the blame on the Ukrainians of being neo-Nazis or whatever, but they just as bad as, because they're cousins. They're basically brothers. I mean, please, they this Eastern Bloc, all this nonsense or whatever. These people are all related. Them, the Polish, all the rest of them. These people are all related. They're all cousins. They're all family members. They're all damn neo-Nazi skinheads as well, too. So a lot of people try to cut the Russians slack and stuff. Well, they weren't involved in the actual Western slave trade. Like, yeah, because they was on the East. Had they been located on the other side in the West with England and the rest of them, they would have been right a part of it. So, I mean, and also, and I know this is a little bit off topic, you can kind of understand what the kind of hell that Brittany Griner's got to be going through, because these Peckerwoods over there are not going to let her go. They're going to do everything they can to go ahead and make her life a living hell over there, because you got Putin, who's always spewing crap like this right here. And then this is his man right here saying this and that. The other man come up here, he's sitting up here talking, well, they did call them African Americans and this and that. And they have a big part of the entertainment and this and that. Like, all of the degenerate shit that goes on in Europe. Are you serious? All of the degenerate stuff that goes on in Europe. You actually got a nerve to sit over here and point at Black Americans for sitting up here talking about ruining your country? Man, this is just ridiculous right here. This is unbelievable right here. It also shows you the power, like you say, Professor. It also shows you the power of Black Americans globally. You cannot deny the impact that Black Americans have. One minute these people want to sit up here and they want to mimic you and copy you and do everything that you do. And the next minute they want to sit up here and blame you for what you created.
This is why I always tell all my fellow Black American freedmen, whenever you travel abroad, do not go over there without some type of protection or somebody with you. Okay? You just don't know what you're stepping into when you're going to.
Don't go to Russia, period, if you Black. That's what I say. Don't go, period.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, exactly. Don't even go there. If you can have it, don't go there.
Take it for someone to stand. Believe it or not, I've been to Russia. I went to St. Petersburg, Russia in 2017. When I tell you, that is one of the most hostile places I have ever. I lived in Italy. I think I've told you guys before. When I tell you, Russia is one of the most hostile places I have ever been in my life. Because I went on July 26th, which is my birthday. I'm telling y'all don't ever do it, man. And you best be on your P's and Q's, because they look for any excuse to keep your behind down.
Yeah, I've heard stories about them attacking Black tourists and Black students and stuff over there, and the police and not doing anything about it whatsoever.
That's right, folks. They attack you. They just as bad as these folks over here, man. These folks, y'all got to understand, man, these caucasoids are all related. These ones over here and them jackasses over there, they all come out them Caucasus Mountains, and they call themselves Slavs. And I think that's what you were talking about, Newstoter, with them being cousins. That's what they are. They all cousins, and they call themselves Slavic people. And Russia is considered the big brother of all of them, but they Slavic people. Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, what's the other one? Poland.
Romania.
Yes, these folks have, if you notice, they all look alike. They all had these beaming eyes that look demonic. I mean, if you look at Putin's eyes, look at Putin's eyes, man. Y'all ever look at Putin's eyes? Just look at Putin's eyes, and you just see how demonic them damn things look. Just look at how all of them look. They all look the damn same. That's what they call the Slavic look. That's what these folks are. Slavic, if you really want to just know the interpretation of what that means, it means demonic. There you go. Slavic equals demonic. Stay out them damn countries over there. There you go.
Yeah, and I know you had a lot of black entertainers and stuff that would go to Europe and stuff like that, and some of them went to Russia. I remember Roy Jones was talking about he wanted to actually move to Roy Jones, a former boxer. For those that don't know, wanted to actually talk about he thought about getting citizenship over there in Russia and stuff like that. Look, I know black people fell in love with Western Europe and stuff like that because you had them go to the war and they talk about how beautiful it was and how they was treated better over there and this and that after World War II and whatnot, and how you had a lot of entertainers like Josephine Baker and them move over there and live over there and was idolized and worshipped by white men and stuff like that. But where in the hell do y'all think the actual white supremacy really comes from? I know everybody says America, but America is just a child of these people right here. America is just their child. The ideologies and stuff like these people had when they started going out in the world and stuff like that and traveling comes from their European homelands. So, I mean, to sit over there and talk about you're going to go over there and live with these people and this and that, you'd be better served over there, I guess, in Western Europe. And even there, a lot of our black people, we've had some black folks from England and stuff one time in the space telling us about the actual racism and stuff that they facing over there in Europe. In Europe and not Europe, but in England and France and stuff like that, these people get treated like dirt like that, black people over there. So to sit over here and start fantasizing about these places over there, keep your black ass up out of Russia. That's the only thing I could tell you, man. Do not go to Russia. Like so many of these people in Russia, they listen to your music, they listen to you, they see you, they idolize you. It's just like on that Spike Lee movie or whatever, when you had the Italian dude and he said nigga, 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 nigga. But his favorite niggas, his favorite people in the world was Eddie Murphy now and Prince. But they weren't niggas. They were bigger than niggas. They were more than niggas. And that's how a lot of these white folks feel in these places and stuff like that. Hell, that's how a lot of them feel right here in this country. They have their favorite black person that they like to watch play football or basketball or sing or dance or whatever, and everybody else in the black race is just an inferior. Please keep to yourself as much as you can right here. I'm not preaching racism, anything like that, but I'm just letting you know that a lot of these people don't have any use for us as a people, and nobody is studying no damn Russians over there because of your dumb ass going over there firing on Ukraine. We've had to go ahead and give them billions of dollars it costed us because you went over there and you declared war against your cousin. And now you want to sit up here and blame us. So if anything, black Americans should be blaming your ass because you lighten in our pockets over here. Money that should be going to our community and going to our people is going to your cousin to fight you. Do we have any people in the space that's from Rhode Island? I want to know if we have any people in the space from Rhode Island because I definitely would like to hear what their view is about the actual reparation program up there and how they feel about basically having to divvy up all of the money with whites, black immigrants, and Native Americans. So we got any people in the space that actually live up there in Providence, Rhode Island, please, anybody that's close to that area, go ahead and let us know as well too, because we definitely would like to get your actual opinion and your thoughts and just share what you know about us. If you know anything in depth, please let us know. This is just another scam right here, Professor. Just another got you and whatnot. And like I said,
it is, man. It is. It is. You can only shake your head at this shit, Newstoter. And see, that's another thing that I'm laughing at as I'm reading the story about this whole thing with Rhode Island, man. I hope our people can eventually wake up and stop a lot of this type of shit, because this is going to happen across the country. They're doing it here. I mean, they're doing it in Rhode Island, but they're going to try to move it to other states, y'all. They're going to try to do this in other states. They're going to always try to put these damn caucusoids and other groups into our claims. We have to get ourselves together, people, and stop this type of shit.
That's why we have to have our own representation at these meetings and organizations and stuff like that. You just can't have a black face in these places and stuff like that and think that they're going to actually look out for everybody. Like I said, they could have nipped that in the bud from day one. Black people are scared just to say no and walk away from the table. And sometimes that gives you more power. That gives you more leverage. You go ahead and you tell these people, yeah, we were talking about signing a reparation bill that was supposed to be for the actual descendants of slaves. But then, we got to the table. These people told us, hey, we got to include any and everybody into it. And we end up getting screwed. We had to share with poor white folks. We had to share with Black immigrants. We had to share with Native Americans. And then just say, hey, when was the last time Native Americans, whenever y'all set up a treaty or any kind of thing for them, when was the last time you gave us a piece of that pie? And they'll sit there and they can't say anything because it's never been the case. They have never said, okay, we're going to do something. Never in the history of this country have they say, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sign something for Native Americans and Black people together. Hell, the Native Americans that had Black people as slaves and stuff like that, disembowel them, don't want to give them any money or whatsoever, don't want them to claim any part of their heritage or whatever. So when was the last time that you had anything, any kind of agreement, anything set up where both Blacks and Native Americans got it? But when it's time for Black people to get something, that just goes to show you, when it's time for Black people to actually get something, you have to divvy it up with, like I said, you got to divvy it up with 3 different factions. The whites, poor whites, as they're going to say, and of course they poor whites, Black immigrants, and Native Americans. Nobody else in this country has to do that. Nobody. Asians don't have to do that. Gays don't have to do that. Latinos don't have to do that. But now you're going to sit up here and you're going to take a pie. And I mean, good Lord, what is going to be left of this pie? And like I said, a measly $10 million. Why not walk away from that and say, hey, first off, $10 million, unless you're going to get us to 50 people, 100 people, that's not even worth our time, man. Come on, get out of here. Take that money. I can see if you was talking about $100 million, you're going to give it to us or whatever. What the hell is $10 million going to do? And please, somebody find the population of Providence. I just want to know what the actual population of this place is. Because I know Providence ain't no huge place, but I know it's not like some little run-of-the-mill town as well either. Val, I saw you came up. Did you want to say something, or did you want to speak? You or Brother McCoo? Because I know y'all been in the speaker spot for a little bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel like our people just revert back to the bullshit just out of convenience. What Professor was saying earlier. It's bullshit, but to convert or to acquiesce to white supremacy is easier than actually combating it. What we doing right now, this shit ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, it's easy to just get on the app and talk, but to actually put action, you know what I'm saying? To actually do what you do, Tota, takes fucking action. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. It takes energy, and we just gotta face it sometimes that it just might just be us in these spaces that actually get shit done. You know what I'm saying? Because we actually realize the importance of having to do this for our children's children's children, who we won't even meet. And it's a lot of people out here. I'm gonna just be real. It's a lot of people out here that don't even mention that shit, man. They don't even mention children. They don't even mention anything about their offspring. Half of them battling with loving themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to sit out here and, I'd say it's like that. What's that movie? Boys in the Hood. When your boy, the late great Bernie Mac played that officer. I hate black. I hate everything black. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of them out here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Stephen A's. You know what I mean? that just want to love massa. You know what I mean? But that's part of the repair that we need. A lot of us suffer from massa loving syndrome. You know what I'm saying? I call that the opposite of PTSD, where you just love being a bootleg and love being a goddamn coon. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely got to just separate ourselves from that. You know what I mean? And stop giving them an excuse to be cool. You know what I mean? So I'll land there.
Absolutely, brother. Everything you said, I mean, I agree with it. And here's the thing too, like I have discussions with people off the app and whatnot, and I say, you know what? And I've said this to you a number of times, Brother McCoo, and a bunch of people in the space. I'm like, even if I don't get it, I don't see it, I don't have an issue with it. So long as my my kids or grandkids or great grandkids or even great grandkids get it. You know what somebody told me one time about? Oh, you need to stop talking about it because they ain't gonna get it. Your grandkids ain't gonna see it either. So stop talking about it. You need to worry and focus on real issues and stuff like that. There's more important issues and stuff like that. I say, listen, I'm not saying that it's not pressing issues and it's not things that we need to focus on as a people. I'm not saying that. And if you've been in the space, you know that we try to cover issues and stuff, different issues. We don't talk about reparations every single solitary night. We talk about what's going on in the news cycle and we talk about what's affecting black people in this country and sometimes black people in this entire world, you know, from whether it's news, politics, lifestyle, health, culture, whatever, entertainment. We know what I'm saying? We try to hit any and everything, but at the same time, I'm not gonna stop fighting for reparations as well, too. So yeah, I can cover what's going on in the news cycle and still, still support reparations 100%. I'm not gonna give that up, and I'm raising my kids the same way that, hey, I want you as well, know what I'm saying, to actually to be about this reparation and stuff like that. They're young right now. They don't really understand it, but as they get older, you're going to explain it to them. So let me go ahead real quick. And Ray, I'm going to let you, and then let me get the Val real quick. Or you want to let Val go first and then you go, Ray?
I'm just going to say this real quick. The population of Rhode Island is 190,934. Yes, somebody grab that for you.
Now you said Rhode Island or Providence? Providence. You talk about the city, right? Not the state.
Crap. Hold on. So you just want Rhode Island? My bad.
No. Providence. I wanted Providence. What was Providence? I'm sorry, my bad.
Providence, 190,934.
Okay, so yeah, almost a mid-sized city and whatnot. So yeah, appreciate that.
We make up 13.3% of that.
Check the jumbotron. I put the census data up there.
Appreciate that, sister. Let me go ahead and get to the Val, and then we'll get to I see DJ got his hand up. We'll get back to you as well too, Rhea, if you want to speak.
Hi, Newstoter, Ray, Professor.
How you doing, sister?
Doing good. What I want to talk about the Rhode Island thing, and there's two things that you said, and one was that it being part of the COVID money, and the other is somebody just okay, part of the COVID money, and then another red flag for me was that looked like United Way was part of the ones that will be distributing the money. They have a history of misappropriating money too. So it just sounds weird to me, because that money should have already been allotted to people, right? If it was COVID money, then you got to watch the United Way, especially, when it comes to black people and how they distribute money to us.
You're right about that, Val. You would think that money would already be used up. Now, I don't know if they may have had a surplus or they had some left or whatever, but you would think that most of the COVID money would be already used up as well, too. And yeah, the United Way, you have to be, anytime you have these type of organizations, you have to be somewhat leery. And not only that, but the white folks telling you that, they're telling you about the poor white people in the actual town and stuff like that. So that they're letting you know that what they're about to get ready to do when they sit up here talking, oh yeah, and it's more poor white people. Oh, here we go. It's more poor white people now. So let me guess, the poor white people who weren't impacted by the transatlantic slave trade and 400 years of systematic and structural racism, these poor white people should get something that's supposed to be suited and directly for black people. And I mean, maybe I'm missing something right here. Let me go ahead and kick it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Val. Go ahead.
No, I don't think you're missing anything. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out.
I already see how it's playing out, sister, because I already see some of these other scams, like we said in Evanston and some of these other places, that these white folks want to give you money to go out here and buy a damn house. They want to give you a certain $25,000 to go ahead as a down payment on a house where they own the actual mortgage company and the land and everything else. And just another way of screwing black people over and stuff. First off, you don't give me reparations to tell me what I can do with the money, where I can spend it. You don't do that, okay? And you don't throw a measly $25,000 my way, and you don't sit up and have a lottery where we can go ahead and screw over other black people that should be getting this regardless, and tell me that this is reparations.
Yeah, and I just want to say also what you were saying about calling it reparations, and they are trying to water that down. You know what it means. Thank you.
No problem, sister. I appreciate you as always. Thank you, Val, for coming up here speaking. Let me go ahead and get to you, Ree, and then we're gonna get to the sister. We're gonna get to Ree. We'll get to Trouble, and then we'll get to DJ and Brother McCoo.
Hey, Newstoter, Ray, Professor, everybody in the room. Peace, love, and blessings to all the sunflowers in the room. Listen, what I want to say is, as I'm going over this, I actually pulled the Providence Municipal Report, and then I also looked up the census data. So what Ray was reading from was, I think, the population for Ray. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that for the whole entire Rhode Island or just Providence?
That was just for Providence. From what I read, it said 190,934.
Okay. And so I actually got 179,472 based on the census data, and then and I pulled the medium income, but the percentage of Black people in Providence, that's what I was actually looking at. The population of Black people was what I was looking at, and I think I saw it's about 16%. I think.
When I
hold on a second.
It was like 13% when I saw Sister Bill.
Yeah, so it says Rhode Island has about just 6.8% Black, and Providence, in regards to Providence, Rhode Island, is about 16.8% Black people. It's the largest contrast between Maine and Vermont of percentage of Black population. And it says, for example, Blacks make up less than 2% of the population in Maine, blah, blah, blah. I'll post this link. This is Traveling While Black. The data from Providence, Rhode Island, USA also states it's about 16%. So I'll put all that up there too. I just want to say this. I think we're at a position where it seems like, yet again, when we start talking about what reparations looks like on a state level, and from a state level in regards to taxes, they'll never be able to meet the actual amount that is actually owed and due. That can only come from the Federal Reserve on a federal level, and that has to be paid out from the United States government, not just on the state level. And I would say and caution people when we talk about the reparation fights in the different states like California, New York, as you see in Providence, and reparations has also been paid to a city here in Virginia as well. And I would say that, again, the actual amount of money that would have to be paid to the American descendants of freedmen has to come from the federal government. I think setting up commissions are important, but when you have commissions that actually are used in a way where they are invoking or inviting people who do not have a legacy or a lineage to the harms committed to Black Americans, American descendants in your state, then we have a problem. Because now it's turning into the same reason why Lincoln, in order for him to pass the Emancipation Proclamation, he had to promise the white slave owners reparations for loss of a commodity, which was, slave labor. And again, he was a slave owner himself, so he would have benefited from passing the proclamation in those agreements in Congress, because they knew that they were going to be getting money back. And so we have to look at that when we're having these deep discussions, because people are slowly understanding that reparations is going to be paid out. There is going to be a debt paid, no matter what people say, based on data, and the fact that they have professional scholars from universities, economists like Sandy Darity, William Kramer, and the like across this country, digging into what the actual amount will be. The government is polling to see what that will be and how that would look. But you have people who are going to try to stand in the way to say, okay, well, how do we also invoke our way onto that train? And that's what to me, this is what that looks like. It's not to say that you're not going to find families who have a grandmother who probably was a slave, who happened to now be probably whited out or bred out, with white, bred out through the mixing of races and things like that. It's truly to say Providence is opening the door to say, well, we're going to align this with COVID, and we're going to try to tap into COVID, quote unquote, resources to pay out reparations, because the state can't do it. The state, economically and just in totality, state taxes that's not going to happen. We do not pay enough in state taxes to pay out reparations to an entire population, let alone 16% of Black Americans. It's not going to happen. But what they're going to try to do is tap into set-asides and probably get a way into the $600 billion of set-asides right now that the U.S. government has, that people are tapping into, that we don't know are there. That's a problem. It's a problem because they're going to try to use that as a means to say, hey, we can pay reparations on the state level. You cannot. So there's a multitude of things going on here, and I'm gonna read through their. I pulled up their document. I'll have to send it to you guys, Professor Ray and Newstoter. They have their reparations plan, and I pulled it up. So I haven't had a chance to go through it, but I'm gonna have to go through it in its totality and really figure out what's going on.
Real quick before you mute your mic, Ray, I want to just ask you. So the reparation thing that's going on out there in California and stuff, and I know you're from California. How do you feel about that exactly when they're saying that possibly, like I said, and somebody, I think it was Ray or somebody they tweeted it out that they're talking about giving over $200,000 per person.
So I don't know the entire detail. I know Chris Lodgen, shout out to Chris Lodgen and Reparations Task Force, Chad Friday, in the team that's out in California. So whether it's $1, $2, whatever they're actually the number that they're actually going to land on, I trust and believe that they have done the work to get it rolling. That doesn't mean that down the line, once the bills are actually invoked and passed by Gavin Newsom, that they can't go back and amend them and possibly seek more money. I think that, again, the fight for setting up commissions and actually getting the ball rolling is a must. It has to happen because you have to have legislation on the books that you can actually go back in and actually start to now amend and, start to add things to it. The problem is, I think, lies is when we don't have these discussions to start to say, okay, well, what does that look like and how do we know we're getting all the answers? And then you don't have a lot of people that are getting involved. You don't have to be from California. You can actually have family that migrated to California, and possibly if they're connected to a slave descendant in the United States, and they landed in California, quite frankly, I believe they're also looking at that. So I think $200,000 is not enough, but for the state itself, again, because the state cannot fully meet the demand, fully needed the actual number to pay out, which is really in the quadrillions. Some people say trillions, but it's in the quads. It's not going to be able to be paid out by the state, but you can ease the burden of how the state participated in chattel slavery, degradation, Jim Crow, and how Black Americans, American freedmen were treated in California, and pull that data, which I think the task force has done a marvelous job in their run for fighting for reparations. And I hope that other states decide to follow suit. And then we all get involved, like I think it was Black Pressure, or no, it probably was Mother Magoo. Sorry, brothers. I can't remember which one has said it, but we have to get involved so that we can stop seeing these headlines and people coming and trying to shoe away themselves in. So I land my plane.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate it. Good stuff as always, Ree. Let's go to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
DJ was before me. Go ahead, DJ.
Oh no, we're gonna let you because we trying to get the women up here real quick. Let you guys go ahead. DJ plus DJ's always a co-host. He just was in the spot, so I had to have Professor. So DJ, we always go ahead and let the speakers go ahead.
Got me in trouble, sister. I ain't even did nothing. No, I just know that DJ, you fellas always extend that grace to us, and so I just wanted to extend that same grace back to you as well. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't always have to be me go first. I appreciate y'all's voice. So you had your hand up for a long time. I didn't want to just jump in front of you.
What's up, Sister Trouble?
Professor Hootie-Coo.
Hey,
Shout out to the group. It's good to see everybody up in the cut tonight. I have a sense of calmness with me tonight, so I'm not coming in on a hot fire train.
Oh no, you know you covered, sis. You know you covered.
No, I know sometimes it kind of rubs people the wrong way. And so I listen to you a lot of times, Rella, when you say do no harm. And so the men in my house always let me know that my tone kind of get me in trouble. And it's hard for some people to take me how I come because I'm straight, no chaser. A lot of times I say things how I say, and I sometimes don't consider that a lot of other people surrounding us don't necessarily like the language, don't like the tone. And when I get fired up, sometimes it's hard for me in that moment to pull myself back. So when I take some time and sit back and think about it, I realize, okay, maybe I could have said it a little bit different, did it a little bit better. It was a few weeks ago, Newstoter had a space, and I was kind of fired up about that whole Republican thing, and somebody had made a comment in the sections about the woman hollering and screaming and cussing, and I was so passionate and so frustrated at the time that I said something in the tweet, cuss word wise, and I later on thought about it and said I wished I hadn't. So I apologized to the sister that had tweeted that out. I should have, had better self emotional control at the time, and I didn't. So, she's in the space, one love. I listening to my sister Rella do no harm, and sometimes I do without realizing it. So, with that said, I'm a Leo, so we don't apologize often because we generally right. But as far as the reparations go inside of Rhode Island, I think it was Professor or someone else was saying earlier that we wish that our people would turn it down and kind of put our foot down. But a lot of times, it's so less of us, it's not enough of us to really, and sometimes, like my mom says, it only takes one person to start a movement, but we be scared to be that one person to start the movement because in our lowest state, sometimes we feel like we need whatever it is, little cuts that they're going to throw out there at us, and if we speak up, we might cut ourselves out of that. And so sometimes we need that little piece of change so bad that to step up and say, hey, everybody shouldn't be getting this. It should only be us. And then you shut it down, and then nobody gets it. And then you feel like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, or now everyone's mad at you. So nobody ever wants to be the one. If you look at the state today, look at Russia. Now we're going to merge into the Russia situation. Everybody wants to blame Black Americans for every single thing that goes down. And crackers never, ever, ever, forever, never, but never, ever, ever want to take accountability or responsibility for anything. My God, COVID came through and was killing your people, but you didn't blame COVID. You want to blame Black people. And it always goes back to our music like Total was saying, you all can tell Elon Musk, well, if you don't do X, Y, and Z with Twitter, we're not going to allow it in our country. You could tell Facebook and all of these other social media sites, well, if you don't do X, Y, and Z and moderate and subdue some of this foolishness coming through your site, that we're not going to allow it in our country. So you can't do the same thing to rap. You know, you always need an excuse, and unfortunately, the excuse is always us. Everybody wants to blame their degeneracy on us because you don't want to take accountability. You want us to be responsible for each other. You want us to take accountability for what the next black man or black woman does or says or whatever the case is. But you all never want to be responsible for the foolishness that you have going on inside your own house. You refuse to sweep in front of your own door because it's become easy for the world to continue to blame us. And to that I say, you know, we can continue to give pushback, but at this point, they can either kiss our ass or they can give our ass a kiss. You know, because what you do about
love
it.
Yeah, it's kiss my black ass. Shout out to MC Ren though. You know what I'm saying? What's
God is y'all at this point, it's like, what you gonna do? I mean, if we the problem, do something. Do something about it. Do something. Knock the apple off my shoulder. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do that hasn't already been done? We done been here before. We done did this before. And guess what? You're mad because we'll bounce back just like we always have. You want to blame us for your people? So we're the cause of white men going inside their house, shooting up the whole damn family? Y'all don't talk about that on the news, though. You want to talk about, and when black culture, black music, if you listen to it, we're not talking about rolling up in Russia, dead, y'all. We're not talking about going and screwing your bitches and your hoes in Russia. We're not talking about running up in your spot and smoking a blunt up in your. We talking about harming each other. So how does that contribute to the degeneracy that you all got going on in your land?
Hey, Sister Trouble.
Because that's some foolishness.
Hey, Sister Trouble. They saying we helping them to commit suicide over there. Now that is a badge of honor.
It's a badge of honor. Go ahead and get it.
You want to jump off the bridge? Hey, I'm all for it.
You done put your power,
You got that X-Men power, yo. Matter of fact, let's bring it up for tonight. Hold on, let's bring this up.
We got Debo brain power over everybody. You know?
We got that. You Charles Xavier. You Charles Xavier, yo.
Hey, Trouble, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, because
I'm through.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I saw your mic kind of moving, but I wasn't sure. So, okay, Sister Trouble, thank you. Let's go ahead and get to Brother McCool, and we're gonna get to Black Native. Then we're gonna get to you, DJ. Brother McCool, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still there. I'm up here working on this Newstoter.
But yeah, I just wanted to say that we everybody wants to blame the black people, and it's funny because ain't no black people in Ukraine. So how the hell our music?
Hey, Brother Moko, hit your TV in the back down a little bit.
Oh no, dang, that sounds like the TV. That was my professional wife. She's on a professional call. Yeah, so
professional. Yeah, they do. Be more codified. Get your t-shirts, man. No.
Absolutely. But it's definitely funny how they always try to blame us for their shortcomings, and they never take their they never take their shit on their own back. That's all.
Real talk as always, bro. Yeah, like I said, we like 7,000 miles, 8,000 miles away from these boys. Like nobody, not one black person in the United States talks about Russia, gives a damn about no Russia. So to sit over here and talk about we're influencing your brats over there, please. I don't think so. Let
And if
me
that's the case, then they need to send Brittany Griner back. Why they talking all that smack? Send her back, since we such a bad poor excuse of influence, because you was paying this girl how much money to go play out there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, real talk. And I feel bad for that sister because they're trying to make an example out of her. So go ahead and send her back. She got to be over there with all these degenerates and things over there in Siberia, wherever the hell they got at. They don't want to tell where they got it and stuff like that. So I definitely feel bad for this sister right here. All because of political games, they're gonna make her pay. All because of political gains, because they're upset with the United States financing Ukraine and war and whatnot. So they got to go ahead and they're going to stick it to this black girl who has absolutely nothing to do with any of this political stuff that's going on. So that's just crazy right there. That is just absolutely crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it to Black Native. Before I go ahead and kick it to Black Native, guys up there in the Jumbotron, you will see the Newstoter YouTube channel and newsletter. Please go ahead and subscribe to both of them. Please go ahead and subscribe to both of them, and also support us on Cash App. It's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. In case you don't know, in case you're new to the space, Newstoter is the largest Black American-owned news curation platform today in America. So definitely go ahead. If you can support us, we definitely greatly appreciate it. Black Native, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Peace, Miss Toto. Peace, Ray. Peace, Professor.
Peace. Peace.
Miss and my sister, Miss Trouble. You took the words out my mouth. Cause look, I'm tired of these white people. When my mother used to tell me, you know what? White people will blame black people if it's sunny outside, or if the sun ain't outside, it's our fault because the sun ain't shining. So I take it with a grain of salt. When I saw the tweet that Professor had put earlier today, I responded, and I'm gonna read a couple of the responses that I gave because look, in Russia right now they are bowing down to a black Mary. They're bowing down to a black Christ. I don't know. Y'all might want to look up a book called Russian Icons, and that book shows all of the black people from the Bible that they bow down to this day. They have an actual museum. You go on YouTube and type in Russian icons. The museum is filled with nothing but pictures of black people. So they need to stop their bullshit. But I'm gonna read these. My response to black Americans being the cause of suicide because of our music, which they don't have to listen to. That's a choice. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. One of the tweets I tweeted is I said it's the sick obsession with black people that needs to be addressed, which you're doing today. Thank you. So now black people in America have power over the minds of white people in Russia. So we X-Men now. We what's that? Professor Xavier. We could control people's minds. And I said, stop listening to our music. Create your own. Oh, you don't have any, so you listen to ours. That's all they got to do. We're not going to take the hit while you over there blowing up women and children in Ukraine right now. You don't see, what are they playing? The hip hop music while they're bombing Ukraine right now. Is this what they're doing? So we're the cause of you killing all of these people and destroying their land? No, we're not going to be the fall guy. We're going to start with the gaslighting. I'm so tired of white people with the gaslighting and the lies. I just have to say bullseye on the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Worry about what's going on over there. Take accountability for your own people. Why are you over here killing children? Got them living in tunnels and in caves. You know what I'm saying? In the cold. Black Americans ain't over here doing that, and damn sure ain't hip hop, because we ain't doing it to ourselves. So, like I said, I'm tired of black people being blamed for everything wrong with the world, but we're the ones who are the ones being tortured and abused and murdered in the streets. But it's black people's fault. We're gonna stop this, and I'm glad we have this space to address this bullshit and the sick obsession that white people have with black people, particularly black Americans. Let's be specific. It's a sick obsession. They've been doing this shit for years, and they didn't got other people on board with it. They got the Asians and everybody else, but we used to this, and we battle, build, tested. You know what I'm saying? We are warriors. And so this right here is not gonna do anything. It ain't shaking us, it ain't moving us. I'm like dusting the shit off, dusting off my shoulders, taking my hands and dusting that shit off because it ain't nothing. And I'm gonna land my plane on that. And thank you for allowing me to speak.
No problem, sister. And you're right. They can take their Bolshevik blood sausages, eating, vodka drinking, below 50-degree ass back and stay over there in their little rat infested caves and whatnot and shut their mouth because nobody asked for their opinion and nobody asked you to jam to our music anyway. So, I mean, take that and shove it up your ass. OG, go ahead and unmute your mic.
That was funny, Newstoter.
Mother eating blood sausage and up here talking noise and stuff. You got it, OG.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, sorry about that, man. Having a little trouble with my mic here. Listen, I appreciate everybody. What you have to say. Peace and love to everyone. Got to keep this thing going, and my hats off to the younger generation. Go ahead and get this thing. We've tried, but what I wanted to speak to was about these white folks biting off more than they can chew. They the ones who decide they want to try to be the world domination. That's what they get for trying to be the damn top dog. All this bullshit, all these problems, creating problems for other people, creating problems for other cultures, and now they can't handle this shit. They can't fucking handle it. So that's a problem, okay? Because we're scrambling, trying to, get back on our feet. Yeah, we took a hit. We went to the ground, but we getting back up because we always get back up. But they can't do that so well. Okay, so they have to scramble to try to keep from falling on their feet. And I hate seeing nothing more than a damn white trash ass cracker person. Okay, I hate seeing it. I really hate seeing it. So I don't want a damn white slave, so they don't have to be afraid of that shit. We don't really want no damn white slaves because it wouldn't be worth it. I don't think it would be worth it. It'd be more of a waste of time trying to get a damn white person to damn be a slave because they can't really do shit. They can only emulate and copy whatever somebody else does. That's all. Okay? You can create whatever you think you can create, but you're doing it because somebody else came up with the basics of it first. Okay? So, I just wanted to speak to that a little bit. It's probably a whole lot more shit I wanted to say and can say. But, I mean, you guys got it covered. I don't have to really say much, but, I want to deepen my historic backing and as an older generation person, I want to be able to speak to the truth of what's going on and what's been the struggle here in the United States, as much as the world at large. But you guys got it covered, man. I appreciate your efforts. Newstoter, I appreciate you having the space and being the journalist that you are. That's great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming up in the space, OG, and dropping some wisdom. And I'm gonna kick it to you, JV. But just let me say this about Russia. Russia always is starting shit. They over there with Ukraine and Ukraine kicking their ass because Ukraine is being funded by the US and other Western nations. They got their ass kicked, I believe it was by Syria back in the day. They went over there and Syria kicked their ass. Japan kicked their ass way, way long time ago. So if it wasn't for having damn nuclear weapons and this and that, Russia, like most of these other these major countries and stuff wouldn't be shit anyway. So Russia need to go ahead and sit down and shut up and stay out of our affairs. Worry about all them cyber criminals and all of those murderers and everything else they got going on over there. They're some of the biggest cyber criminals in the world and stuff like that. So they need to go ahead and worry about their own affairs, worry about their starving people, worry about things that matter to them. Worry about their corrupt government.
Leaders are serial killers too.
Yeah, like man, if you don't, and you got Putin, he done took all of your damn resources and stuff. Putin, like one of the richest men in the world. No president should be the one of the richest people in the world. He done stole all. He done made himself a dictator and this and that. You bowing down, scraping. Nobody had the nuts to stand up to this dude and tell him like, look, we're not gonna go strike Ukraine. They ain't did nothing to us. Leave them people alone. We don't need no more wars. And y'all want to sit over here and talk about Black Americans? The average Black American can't even pronounce your stupid last name. And you sitting over here talking about Black Americans worried about you and Black Americans music and this and that. Don't be upset because more people look at our music, listen to our music, look at our movies and everything else than any Russian crap that y'all could put together. Russia ain't shit. Russia wasn't anything and never has been anything. Russia is out there. It's a reject. It's Siberia. It's cold. Half of the damn resources are underneath the ice they can't even get. Nobody's studying Russia, and nobody's studying the government or anything or their people either. I don't have anything against their people until they start mouthing off, talking noise, and insulting our culture and whatnot. JV, you got it. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, thanks for that. I kind of just came to the conversation, so I don't need to be redundant, but this is really interesting to me. Like Russian recently was pinned as like a friendly. They didn't oppress anybody, or they didn't oppress Black people or colonize Black people. When they pointed out the Ukrainians' involvement with the Nazis and all this type of thing. So I remember in recent months, people were saying actually the Soviet Union is not as the bad guys, white people that would do it. But now with Putin and these guys are slick. They're military. They're not intelligence, right? That's where he came from. So I'm trying to understand his gameplay. Well, I'll speak specific to the point. He's trying to talk about the degeneracy in his community or in his country to the culture and art of Black America. Well, nothing could be further from the truth, because the art and the culture that young people are attached to it is an act of rebellion from oppression or being left out or not being recognized. So those young boys or whoever, like assumably was attached to this culture, clearly they don't feel any representation. That culture, the Soviets, that bloc, that Russian bloc, they have a long
right on point, my boy. Right on point.
Yes, sir.
Right on point. I said the same thing. Go ahead, you cook.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They got a long history of violence. I have a topical understanding of it. I remember studying it over like 15 years ago in school, in high school. Those guys were very violent. We are not the progenitors of violence. That type of energy. No, those Stalins, they did to those people. You're not going to come here in 2022 and say we're the cause of that demonic, barbarian, troglodyte, Neanderthal thing. No, that's what y'all do. We kind of gave y'all a pass, but y'all wasn't involved in colonialism and all that. So kind of like maybe they are. But these are intelligent people, man. Like, I'm watching these moving motherfuckers, man. Like, are they friendlies or no? Like, what's going on? They keep shape shifting now. Now he wants to attack us. He's literally doing white on white warfare. This shit is crazy. Now you want to point a finger at our art and our culture, which is a representation of lack of representation and despair. Clearly, you have that in your country. Your young boys don't feel like they integrated into your society. If they would not push up like that. They don't have control over your young boys. Y'all want to blame it on us? Nah, bro. He's doing a bait and switch right now. It's a force and hand. It's a red herring. This motherfucker thinks he's Thanos, man. I don't know. That's all I wanted to say. This is weird.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. DJ, you got it.
Yeah, let me bring on my theme music real quick, man. Get these niggas real quick. So, you know what I'm saying? Adam battle, some call, you don't want no song, son. Better shut your mouth down about my homie, son. You know what I mean? Hey, yo, let's go. Chill, I'll talk to him, son. Russia. You don't want that smoke. Reparations. Hey, black people, come on. ADOS. FBA.
When.
Russia. Come on. Stop fucking with us, man.
When.
I ain't gonna go through all my bad. I decided to play around with y'all. Real swag. What's going on tonight, y'all? You know what I mean? Shout out to Newstoter, man. Real rap, man. But yeah, don't say nothing about us, man. You already know what time it is, yo. We got the best music, the greatest music in the world. All the dope music come from us, yo. Everything that young people over there doing, like Homeboy said, yo, the youth is uprising over there. They've been uprising for years because they tired of y'all dictating and being tyrants over there. Like y'all want some Game of Thrones shit. This ain't the whole world. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. That's why I be telling y'all, my people, to watch those type of shows. Game of Thrones, Vikings, see how these people really be getting down. And yeah, them jokers, up in Russia, they definitely violent. But I say big up to the people over there, the Georgian people. They don't like Putin, and they from there. They want smoke with that nigga. So why don't you go talk to your own people? Like you said, talk your own cousins that want war with y'all. I'm surprised they ain't uprising and go slide over with Ukraine to fuck y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some Georgian Russians over here that don't call me a Russian. I'm from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. Yep, well, shit. And as far as the reparations, hey man, you know, Carnell done told us 1,000 times, state reparations ain't shit. It's only about the federal. But hey, if you can get some money up out of it, go and get it, man. I'll yield there.
Real talk. It's gonna take, like Reese said, it's gonna take the federal government, because they're the ones with all the money. So they're gonna be the ones that are gonna have to cut that check. And just the fact that they're trying to go ahead and play this little game again, like I say, that this is like the civil rights movement all over again. They sizing it up. They see that it's gaining momentum, and they're saying, how can we go ahead and how can we get the way we put our white daughters in there in the 60s and stuff like that? How can we go ahead and get our white people in here all together again? How can we go ahead and become the $5 Negroes? That's what they're looking to do, man. Just watch it. They already setting it up right now in front of us before our very eyes. Black Native, you got it, sister. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, DJ, I watched Vikings, Game of Thrones, House of Dragons. I watched all of them, and they are very violent people. And people need to watch Vikings if nothing else. It shows you the true history and the true nature of who they did. You said what?
You saw the last paper?
I think I did see that too. Yeah, I think I did watch that. I know I watched.
That's Netflix.
Well, I ain't hear that. You know my phone.
He said that's Netflix.
Oh, Netflix. Yeah, I think I watched The Last Kingdom with the dude that's he's was born raised as a Viking.
Yeah, that's it.
I seen it. I was watching that too. I watch all of that stuff because I'm like, these people have always been violent. They were killing each other and all that.
That's us. Joker that was raised by the Vikings. That's us.
You know what? When I was watching the Vikings, and I don't know if you remember this episode, I'm not trying to get off track, but remember he came in contact, the one that used to build the ships, the crazy one, came in contact with the Moors.
Loki.
And all of a sudden, and he came in contact when they was praying. And he had all this sympathy for these people and respected their religion, but he just finished killing women and children, white women and children. So I had to investigate. I was like, something ain't right about this. And then I Googled Vikings and the Moors. They did have a war, and the Moors beat the fucking Vikings. Oh, so that's why you showed it in the movie, like they didn't want to fight the Vikings, and they respected them. I mean, the Vikings didn't want to fight the Moors. They respected their culture because the Moors beat the Vikings in real life. Okay, y'all can Google that. So that was something that, you know, when you see them showing love to black people in the back in them times and they killing their own people, you got to investigate. I just want to say this. what Russia is doing is white supremacy. They always play two sides of the fence. So, in the beginning, they were saying Ukraine, they was putting Ukraine out on blast. Ukraine had all these not neo Nazis. Russia. I remember Russia reached out to different African leaders and was trying to get the African leaders to side with them during this white on white war that we're literally watching now. So it seems to me, and this is just me, it's a lot of other people trying to create this narrative about Black Americans. It's the Asians, it's the Jews, the Jewish community. Now the Russians is in on this. The LGBTQ and other different Black diaspora. So I just wanna watch carefully because it seems like it's like some type of they playing checkers right now, okay? And we're the prize, we're the game. And so we need to understand literally and look at what everybody is doing and all of these different moves that people are making, and it's all pointing to us. And I just wanted to say that. And I'll land my plane. Thank you.
You welcome, sister. And yeah, and I watch all that too. Game of Thrones, Vikings, The Last King. I'm like, I got in all of that. If y'all get a chance to, y'all need to check out Marco Polo. This is from the Asian side. Check out Marco Polo on Netflix and stuff. Like these boys are brutal here. Like they don't give a damn. You say you watch that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm into that kind of stuff like that as well too. So yeah, I definitely feel you. Let me kick it.
Hey, sis, just real quick. So that was Floki, the shipbuilder, and that's the one he is.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, remember, yeah, it was Floki. That was the shipbuilder. And he ran into the Moors, and they were praying, and they had just conquered, I think, the Franks. They was, they was going through all through Europe at the time, killing everybody, and they ran into the Moors, and he was sitting in. They was like praying, but the way they were dressed, I knew they were Moors, and he said that he respected these people, and he didn't want to harm these people. And I was like, that's odd, because you just was killing women and children like literally 5 minutes ago. Let me go ahead and Google what went down with the Vikings and the Moors. And the Vikings and the Moors did have a battle, and the Moors beat the Vikings. That's history. So I knew it was something weird about the way they set it up. They're not going to show the Moors actually conquering the Vikings because the Vikings were supposed to be the shit back then. They were running all through Europe killing everybody. But yeah, Google it. I'll land on that.
All right, sister. Let me go.
Say this one last thing real quick, so we just get off this topic. So, Sister Black Native. So that was the History Channel version of the Vikings. So the same thing is carried over. Netflix got the contract for that series or whatever, and the one that's on Netflix, their new season, that shit is fire. That's the best Viking show.
I haven't watched. I watched 1 and 2. I watched episode. I think they on probably season 3 or 4 right now. I think I watched up to season when they killed the main character, the man. They killed him and the son. Yeah, I think I was watched 2 seasons. My brother put me on to that because I watch stuff like that. So yeah, I got Netflix, so I'll probably watch it. But I watch stuff like that.
Real quick, I'm going to step away from the mic real quick, but Black Pressure's next and Val's next. So Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic and I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Hey, what's up, Black fam? What's up, DJ and Ray? News.
What up?
Hey, I was just gonna say, man, about the all those shows y'all were talking about. I didn't even know that the Vikings still came on.
Yeah, just to clarify too what I was saying. So the Vikings that Black Native talking about is the one that came on the History Channel, but Netflix wound up adapting it because I guess the History Channel didn't want to renew whatever contract. So Netflix got the series over there, and that first season that Netflix did, it's damn near better than all of the 5 seasons Black Native that was on the History Channel one. and the main character you talking about was Ragnar Lothbrok, and that's my dude right there, because he ain't care. You know what I'm saying? He ain't care, and that's how we need to be on some Ragnar shit. You know what I mean? But don't be tripping with these white jokers, and that's what his downfall was. You know what I'm saying? We need to be Viking Ragnar, but at the end of the day, don't go dealing with the white European Christians, because that's where his downfall was. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Black Person.
No, I'm gonna sit back and listen. Y'all go ahead.
But watch that joint. Watch that joint for sure, though.
I think Val is Val next. Is it her?
Yeah, it's Val, because Val was after Black.
Down there.
After Black Name.
Now let JB go, because JB didn't speak yet. Val spoke, then Val, you go after whoever.
No, lady first.
Okay, now go ahead.
No, he can go. Really.
All right, go ahead, JB.
I'm just going to double down what I said. I want to hear a new refreshing voice, so I feel like bounce off your energy system.
I'm gonna go if one of y'all don't go. Y'all so shivery in here. Y'all so shivery in here.
Oh, okay. I was just reading through the article because I had read it today. But you just really can. It's just really bizarre article. Sounds like a lot of hating. And it talked about that they are having a growing crisis, emptiness of Russian culture. And, they've never had a culture really that was popping. We are the culture here, and that's why they listen to our music. How are they going to blame us for the rise in the suicide? They look over the poverty there. They're in a war. And we always have known that Russia is very corrupt. In part of the article, it was saying that they said, well, kind of dismissed it. Well, at least he wasn't inflammatory. He didn't say, he called us descendants of African American slaves. I guess that was to say, at least he didn't call us the N-word. But there is something in there that he said of calling us apes. And I was trying to look at the article, but he did say some defamatory things about us. But, we are not responsible for their problems. And I'm go along with Professor. Yeah, they just have to do what they got to do. If they got to blame us for their problems, suicide rates and corruption and war, it's like Black Native said, it gets really tiring. We get blamed for everything.
Hey, let me spit an article to y'all just real quick, 2 seconds, if you don't mind, sis.
Okay, yeah.
Just to get y'all wild up, like homie JB said, right? So right here, right? So, like bro said before, the reason why hip-hop is over there, one, because we fire Black people, you know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, too, hip-hop is about, youth rebellion in some way, shape, size, or form. You know what I'm saying? It became what it was in the late 80s on that note. So, hold on, let me close this out. So, right here, this says, a shout out to the Klan News Network. That'll be CNN, by the way. CNN, Klan News Network. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me start turning this tab. Hold on 1 second. So, with that being said, right? So, it says, in Russia, a rap war is raging, but it's not between battling MCs. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has previously condemned rappers for bringing societal issues into the limelight and invited a popular artist to perform at his presidential inauguration earlier this year, has said that rap is part of the country's culture and that it's up to the government to manage it. This is part of culture. This is part of our common culture, so it needs to be treated with great caution, Putin said at a meeting of the Presidential Council for Culture and Art in St. Petersburg on Saturday.
Wait a minute, not to cut you off, but he says part of that culture.
Yeah. Oh
my God.
Check it it again. So in quotation marks with the article, this is part of culture. This is part of our common culture. So it needs to be treated with great caution, Putin said in a meeting of the Presidential Council for Culture and Art in St. Petersburg on Saturday. If it is impossible to stop, then it is necessary to navigate and guide accordingly, Putin said. The Russian president was responding to a debate about official efforts to crack down on rap artists, actions that have raised concerns about freedom of expression in the country. Cancellation surge. Cancellation surge. So since October, at least 7 performers, most of them rappers, have had their concerts canceled because of law enforcement raids on other pretexts. On other pretexts, meaning your writings, you know what I mean, or your words, according to Human Rights Watch. The Calvert Journal, which is published by London-based nonprofit Calvert 22 and features analysis on contemporary culture in Russia and the region, reported that a wide range of gigs have been canceled throughout 2018, ranging from punk shows and small festivals to larger, more influential hip-hop and rap outfits. In November, the high-profile arrest of one of the country's most famous rappers catapulted the country's rap condom into a global spotlight. I'm going to say, see, you're right, Tyler, I can't pronounce none of this shit. So I'm just saying Dmitry Kuzentov, or whatever, a.k.a. Husky, that's his rap name, Husky, was arrested and jailed on charges of minor hooliganism. You a hooligan, you know what I'm saying? So you talking about doing XYZ ABC, get the fuck out the way, get out the way, you know what I'm saying? So now they label you a hooligan, yo. So after performing for fans on the street in the southern city of Krasnodar, Husky 25 was sentenced to 12 days in prison for rapping from the rooftop of a car after his concert was canceled at the last minute. The venue where Husky was scheduled to perform pulled out due to a warning from the local prosecutor's office, who said the rapper's lyrics were going to be checked for extremism, according to Human Resources Watch, citing local media Lenta, whatever. Another venue opened its doors to Husky at the last minute, but as the rapper began to perform, the venue's electricity was cut, prompting him to perform to fans who had spilled out into the streets. HRW reported Husky, who often raps about poverty, corruption, and police brutality, and this is a white dude, by the way, right? Russian cap, you know what I mean? White as snow. Wrote on Russia's social media platform, Rock Take that several of the scheduled concerts on that tour had been canceled by authorities who alleged that his lyrics promote sexual debauchery and are religiously offensive. Following his arrest, prominent rappers Oxymoron, Basta, and Noise MC organized the I'm Going to Sing My Music charity concert in Moscow. Oxymoron, whose real name is Menrov Floyd Flowski, we call him Flowski, Black Native, said on Twitter that this is not about Husky, but about all of us and the future of music in our country, which is true. Freedom of expression, man. You know what I mean? But y'all ain't got no.
Ain't no freedom in Russia.
Yeah, ain't no freedom. But I'm saying freedom of expression for us. But like I said, they ain't got no rights over this. So that's why y'all over there fighting. So just hours before the event, Husky was released from prison and the charges were dropped. The gig drew a packed crowd of hip-hop devotees and activists, including opposition leader I can't pronounce his name, but that's the dude they tried to poison, by the way. Alexei Navalny. That's the dude that they allegedly Vladimir Putin tried to poison because he was going against him. So, and he survived too, by the way, because he fled the country. So the gig drew packed crowds of hip-hop devotees and activists, including opposition leader Navalny, who claimed that Husky was released because the Kremlin wanted to avoid the concert turning into a manifestation for freedom and speech and creativity. Margarita Simonian, or whatever, the editor-in-chief of Russia state-sponsored television network RT, said on Twitter that a few Kremlin officials found out about the case and personally intervened. When 2 or 3 people at the president's office are outraged by a particular occurrence, things usually turn out well, she said. I guess I'll stop there because that's pretty much it. And then he's talking about, You know, they don't got no freedom of expression over there. That's why they doing what they doing, police brutality. So they probably getting their ass whooped by their own people. You know
Okay, so now it's become
jobs. Don't got no jobs. You know what I'm saying?
now it's coming clearer. Now, yeah, I see what you're saying. Now it's becoming clear because they little Ruski kids have been inspired by the black people. So now they got hell on their hands and whatnot. Okay, so that's what it's about.
I found that part that I want to say in the article. Many of our children are already growing up without knowing or remembering their kindred tribe, claiming that they are instead singing songs written by the descendants of African American slaves, often playing the ape and imitating the habits and language, brimming with second-rate quasi-cultural vulgarity. Clinging to this secondariness, being proud of, hence the growth of overt spiritual emptiness, depression, and suicide. The lack of meaning in life.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a violin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that part right there when he said that suicide. Because as far as I'm concerned, Ukraine and that damn Russia can blow each other up because they all neo-Nazis. They can just go ahead and shoot each other up, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, let me say this last little thing just real quick. I guess I should read it, yo. So it says right here, okay, their veteran rapper Pata, real name David Nurebi, warned against any proposed censorship of rap lyrics and suggested that the genre had become a scapegoat to hide social problems affecting young people in Russian society. So what you gonna do about that? Vadim, I got some bars for you. Send your best over here. We gonna crush them. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Tell us how you really feel.
Word up. Somebody get Smack White on the phone. Can set this battle up, man. You know what I mean? Y'all saw what D-Block did to Dipset. Y'all don't want no sauce Russia when it comes to this battle. But I respect Russian artists because they really do care about hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? And they love it when black artists really go over there and they embrace that shit. They take that shit serious, yo. You know what I mean? Keep it real. So shout out to them hip hop artists fighting whatever oppression they fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick.
Coming straight from the underground. Niggas want me locked as a brown.
Hey, real quick, I had stepped away, so I'm not sure, but Mr. Engaging, I know he just got up here, so let's let him, and then you, DJ, y'all can tell me the order because I see Ree got a hand up, JV, Black Native, so y'all.
Let JV cook real quick. I know Mr. Gates just got her. I actually invited you, real talk to talk about the reparations up here real quick, but JV had his hand up for a minute and he yielded his mic twice already. So
okay.
I'm comfortable because I spoke already. That brother want to speak.
Okay. I didn't even know you spoke already, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Whoever want to talk, you know, we just up there talking or whatever. What up, Ro?
Hey, we can barely hear you, Mr. Engaging. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can barely hear you, bro.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Okay, yeah, now we can hear you.
What's up with you talking about these white folks getting reparations? I came in the tail end of that, and I would like to know, like, just a quick synopsis of what's going on with that.
Okay,
I definitely want to respond to that. I'm all for delineation.
Yeah, what you said, you in Rhode Island, right?
Now he in Connecticut.
In Connecticut.
So yeah.
Rhode Island reparations, right?
Yeah, real quick, in Rhode Island and Providence, they have an actual reparation program. They talk about giving $10 million. They taking it from COVID funds. And it's supposed to be for black people, but it's also for black people, Native Americans, black immigrants, and white people can also apply too if they're under a certain income level. So that's what it's about right there. Yeah.
Oh, so it's like an all live. Okay. I could respond to this one. One thing about me, I work as a career counselor, right? One thing I notice about the policies that they have, and it's going to drive home to this reparation thing. They mentioned like aggrieved parties and a whole bunch of other things, but it's in the whole synopsis is like a catch-all, but it still undermines black folks overall. and doesn't even focus on black folks because it goes to everybody else. And I really feel like that's a very damaging policy, and it should be called out by the people of the community because it's not reparations. It's at all. It's paying everybody money for COVID relief. That's how I look at it because that's what the intended funds were supposed to be used for. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's actually coming from COVID funds, but they went ahead like everything else. They went ahead and under the guise they put reparations on there. The funds are actually supposed to be coming from COVID, and what they're saying is since the funds are coming from COVID, it's supposed to be a race neutral thing. So that in itself should be red flag number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because when you're dealing with reparations, we know that it's part of it, not all of it, but part of it's going to be based on race because not all of it, because everybody that's black is not entitled to it. But you do have to be black to at least get your foot in the door. And the second part, you have to be black and a black American. You have to be a descendant of American slavery. So it's a hustle. When they said that we're going to do this,
lineage based.
Yeah.
Lineage based. It sounds like they should. If the people that are out in that Rhode Island community, what they should be doing is trying to push for the same similar policies that California has. A lot of policies are reciprocated. Like for example, like no different from a pistol permit, license, and stuff like that, where it's applicable to multiple states. I really think all of us should be going to our local states and just mirroring like what California has and put it on Xerox and just put the state that you live in. Like, because if that's already went through, then I don't. You get where I'm going at?
yeah, I feel you. My thing is this right here, Mr. Engaging. When they went ahead, because they got black people as they always do to go ahead and tell them to lay down the groundwork and this and that. The black people, you have to, if you lay down the groundwork, you have to go ahead and tell them what it's going to be. You can't sit up here and walk through the door, all timid and whatnot. Look, this is what it's going to be. This is going to be for the descendants of American slavery. And if they say, well, we got to do this and we can't use it. Okay, well, next time when you guys are able to go ahead and use funds directly for the descendants of American slavery, then we can go ahead and we can talk. But until then, we can't sit at the table and negotiate because that just goes against everything that we're trying to do. This is not the Rainbow Coalition here, okay? This is not We Are the World. Those days are over with. This is for one specific group of people. You already ran this scam back in the 60s. Enough is enough.
But on top of that, they keep doing that. They keep doing that because what it is you cannot, other groups' oppressions and their experiences in America cannot hold a candle to what is actually happening to the American freedmen population in America and the black people who actually come to America from a civic point of view, which the chair actually spoke about on the California reparations meetings when they actually were recording them. It's all listed even on YouTube. So other groups are saying, okay, well, how do we actually get our issues outlined so that we again can ride this train on in with these people? But it ends up turning out that they end up becoming benefactors in the entire programs. But when they actually get benefits that they are benefiting from on a state level, you do not see them saying, oh, we need to include the American freedmen population or the African American population and their atrocities in our commissions or programs that they're developing. I always said that just like DACA, we should have definitely or the generations before, or the generations at the time when DACA was passed during Obama, we should have been up in arms to the fact that that program did not include us. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't keep sitting here and saying every time that we have something that we want to start talking about our repair, and you want to start including indigenous, but you don't actually specify or delineate what indigenous are you talking about? Because if we want to get technical, you don't even take care of the Black indigenous that actually is pretty much the smaller voice in that population. You don't take care of those people. As a matter of fact, they were ousted if we're going to be frank. So I honestly do believe that I agree with you that we have to make a bigger issue about everyone actually riding the train on in. And to Trouble's point, and also pay attention to the fact that we don't shoot our foot off, right, to spite our face, or cut our nose off to spite our face. I think that's how you say it, to the point where we don't get anything on the books that we can go back and amend later. So there is a caveat to this, I do believe. But at the same time, I think making sure that we speak our vocalize our discontent to how they're actually always doing these things to us, that's important.
Real quick, let me just go ahead and give a shout out to Miss Valerie too for her contribution on Cash App. Thank you, Miss Valerie, for your contribution, and thank you for always supporting the platform. Definitely appreciate it, sisters. Much love to you. Mr. Engaging, go ahead and get to your point, and then we're gonna go ahead and move it around real quick. I know JV had his hand. Original, I don't think Original spoke tonight. Black Native, so we're gonna get to all you guys. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
I definitely.
You got it.
I'm sorry. It was working now?
Yeah, you there. Go ahead.
Yeah. I wanted to piggyback on what that sister was talking about. Like, we should have been there for, like, outside of DACA, like, for immigration. Like, we should have Black people there voicing our concerns about the effects about immigration and how it affects our community. And, like, actually put more tighter stipulations on the table. Or even throw out the ideas of remittance, having that being taxed, because there's no way on earth that money should be leaving out of any of our communities to go around the world when you're not taking care of the United States first. That's a part of being a citizen of our nation, and I find it egregious that people want to take resources out of there and at the expense of Black American people. That's not a good look. So I think that by attacking those things, I think that would be effective as well.
All right, Mr. Engaging, always, brother. I'm glad to hear you, and let me know, man. You know, whenever you got some articles you want to put out on the platform, man, just go ahead and DM me. Let me know. You know what time it is. We look out for our people and stuff. So go ahead, and like I told you too, man, go ahead and when you get a chance, start working on getting that getting your site up, man. Getting you, we need a news person up there in Connecticut too, just to keep us what's going on, letting us know what's going on with our people up there in Connecticut as well too, man. We got to go ahead and network. Go ahead and let us know, report it. We go ahead and we start spreading that news all around the country and everything, man. We trying to build a platform up. That's why we ask for you guys' support, whether it's Cash App, whether it's just going to Newstoter supporting us and stuff like that, because we got to go ahead and get a bigger platform. Too many big stories come through the Newstoter.com every day, man. If y'all have not been to Newstoter.com, make sure you visit Newstoter.com. It is the largest Black American-owned news curation platform today in America. We're curating from so many different sources. We even have our own curators on there and stuff as well, too. So go ahead and support it. We'll go ahead and definitely link you up with top-level Black-owned websites, bloggers, and everything else of that matter. So just definitely go ahead and support the website as much as you can. If you're on the site, depending on what type of browser you're using or what type of device you're on, you may have to go ahead and disable your pop-up blockers so you can read the entire site, because we do give you curated posts, but to read the entire post, you will have to go to the actual parent site, our partners and stuff like that. So we're trying to increase business for our people as well too. So we're trying to send traffic to their sites as well too. So definitely go ahead and support us as much as you can. And we appreciate everybody that does do that on a daily basis, whether you visit the site or you retweet or whatever. But just make sure that you guys at least go there for 30-40 seconds a day, visit the site. That helps with the analytics and stuff like that. We need to have our own voice and our own way of spreading content as well too. So JV, I believe you were next, and then I believe Black Native Original will get to you too as well, brother.
Yes, sir. So for me, that's a moot point. Like, no longer could anybody tell us our repair program has to repair anything else. Our repair program is specifically to those that were harmed on this soil. It's not about the Green Deal. It's not about world poverty. It's not about racism in the world. They're conflating too many things to try to derail us from what our harm was. The That's the reparation program. They trying to steal a language like as if we're stupid. I think that's what they played on, our lack of identity. I'm gonna reach and say that, and I'm gonna morph that into the whole Putin thing I'm gonna say before. What they're playing on, what they think we don't know who we are, and that's like they don't recognize our ethnogenesis in this country or this soil. Something happened here that happened nowhere else, and that something was very harmful, and it derailed us from having autonomy and living what a quality life type of thing. No, he said he led with the African slaves in America. But literally, you have people here in America, black people, who have descendants and lineage here who are saying we're not simply Africans. We are, what is the word? We're ethnogenesis. We are a mixture of many people. And we developed to that on this land. We didn't come from nowhere else like that. We developed that here. And he's playing on that. I want to make a point too. When people represent Scandinavians and their warlords, they could play us on that because they in East Europe. I don't know if those Scandinavians is something different with what they did, but the East Europeans definitely did war crimes and they like killed their farmers and they pushed that whole Stalin and all that type of weird shit over there. So those are the violent people. So they can't now say that their violence or their depravity or their degeneracy is a result of us. No, they don't. That's your history. They had the Bolsheviks and all that type of weird shit. And I'm concerned about these people because Stalin, he came from intelligence agency, if I'm not wrong. Somebody correct me. And he's a clever little guy. You know, he positioned himself early on, and I'm only doubling down. He positioned himself to kind of appease to us or appease to somebody when he was calling Ukrainians Nazis. Like, why would he say that? Like, who's he pandering to? And then he talked about the Africans, they die and they go home and die in their country. Their leaders go everywhere and die in their country. They kind of like people was feeling that because it sounded like he was telling the truth. But again, these are people from intelligence agencies similar to the CIA and FBI. So he's not doing anything haphazard. He's not like Sleepy Joe Biden. He's saying things very strategically to win people over. So why now would you present some hostility to Black Americans? Is this him showing that he's in despair and he wants to regroup and be a white supremacist, or is it him? Is this a good faith argument? Like, does he really feel like we're causing that without recognizing his own history? Like, this is really interesting to me. I guess I'm done.
All right. Shout out to you, Mr. Engaging, too, for your contribution on Cash App as well, too. Let's go ahead and kick it to Ree. I know. Let me kick it. Ree, you already did you have your hand up too? I see your hand down. I'm not sure. Like I said, I had stepped away for a second.
No, I spoke already.
Okay.
I'm just listening now.
Let me go ahead and kick it to Black Native then and then original.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what's going on in Rhode Island. I don't know if it already had been addressed, the percentage of Black people that live in Rhode Island, since they want to disperse reparations to everybody and their mama. It's like me looking at the 2020 census data, and it says it's 71.3% white, not Hispanic, 18% Hispanic or Latinx instead of Latino, Black or African Americans. You see how they put Black or African Americans? What is that about? 3.6%. And hold on. Yeah, 3.6%. Asians, 9.3%. I've been to Rhode Island. It's a very small percentage of Black people that live in Rhode Island. It's right next to Boston, because I went to Boston when I was in Rhode Island. It's a very small percentage of Black people. So for them to say, oh, we're going to do reparations, but we're going to disperse it to everyone, and only 3% of the population. Black Americans seem like it's the smallest population next to multicultural, whatever that means. It's the smallest percent of Rhode Island. So then, if they even do that, Black Americans are still not even going to get them, get what they deserve. And they're using the word reparations very loosely now. We spoke about the climate reparations. Now it's reparations, but everybody and a mother could get it, not the people who are rightfully owed this money. So yeah, we have to be on top of that. And it's not a lot of black people in Rhode Island, but the ones that are there, yeah, they need to stay on top of that. Addressing the article that DJ just read, it sounds like censorship in Russia. And I remember when they tried to do that to hip hop here in America, and Luke Campbell, had to take them to court. You know what I'm saying, because they were trying to stifle our freedom of speech. But they said that that's their culture, and I had to keep laughing behind that because that's not their culture. I'm really getting tired of white people at this point. They steal ours and then they pretend like they created. So you ain't creating nothing. I want to hear one of these Russian rappers. You said his name was Hubby, rapper Hubby. That's his name. What are you rapping? Husky, right? Husky. What are you rapping about? What does this sound like? What's the beats that you using? Who's the DJ? Because when hip hop was started, I don't recall Russians being around anywhere like the Latinos and everybody else. I don't remember them in New York, uh, dealing with hip hop. But it's a universal, it's the largest genre of music worldwide. But yeah, they're gonna try to use that when they've been degenerate. You know what I'm saying? Now you killing your own people right now. White on white crime. We're gonna keep specifying that. Russia Ukraine war. Even before Ukraine, Russia was fighting when they had what was when they had the wall. They broke down the wall sometime in the 80s. So they've always been at war with each other. And so now it's black people fault that your people are dying. It's probably, maybe it could be all the bullshit that they see that's going on in their country. And speaking to JV, yeah, JV is he's making some really good points, because I recall when Ukraine was stopping the African people from getting on the train, and they was trying to keep them in the country. Russia, I saw videos of Africans, and the Russians took them in, and they tried to make it look like, hey Africa, hey big head, we over here helping your people. Look at us. So what changed? What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Why are you using black Americans? How many black Americans live in Russia? How many black American hip hop artists go to Russia and perform? How many? Probably not a lot, because it's cold and black people don't like the cold. So yeah, this shit is bullshit. And I'm gonna land my plane. Thank you.
All right.
I can tell you this much. When I was there, sister, I seen maybe 2 or 3 of us. We were looking surprised to see each other.
Yeah, I can imagine it ain't gonna be too many, because it's one thing, you got black people that's in Europe and stuff like that, in England and France and stuff, but Russia's a whole nother place when you talk about coldness. I mean, it really is a damn ice box. Like, so I imagine you ain't gonna have too many black people running around over there in Russia too much. Let us go ahead and kick it. We're gonna kick it to Original. Then we're gonna kick it to Volvo. I see Volvo up in the spot. What's up, Volvo? Then we're gonna kick it back to Trouble and Mr. Engaging as well too. So let's go ahead and move it around a little bit so everybody can get a chance to speak. Original, how you doing tonight, brother? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
And peace, black power, and reparation. I'm doing okay, man. I fell asleep and I'm like, oh damn, I'm missing the space tonight. But please let me know if anything that I'm saying has already been said. Now, I find it strange that when black people, as someone stated earlier, that they pulled this madness back in the '60s with affirmative action. It was supposed to be for us, and then they included everybody else.
Yeah, I said that earlier, but you right on point. Keep going.
Okay, and see, I remember once reparation had became a hot topic, and this is when that old AOC witch had got into office. And then she said, yeah, and I want to see if I can include the Latino. Damn the Latino. This has nothing to do with anybody but the descendants of the people who were enslaved in this country. And that's it. Now, all y'all other folks, trust me, we are going to push back. And I mean push back hard. Because I'm tired of every time we get something going, it's just like what someone just said about rap music. When rap music was I'm just gonna call it like it is. When the Jews started pushing this negative rap music and telling these people that if you don't do this, you ain't gonna get. We're gonna kill your contract. And these people, because I remember hearing people say, "Yeah, man, that's why I got out of rap because they started wanting me to do all this old crazy stuff, and I didn't want to do it." And at one point, they was having some of these young people to sign like 20-year contracts so that if they quit, they couldn't even go out and do it. And the way they was written up sometimes, it was like whatever job that they got, they would get like 10-20% of what they made. So they had them under severe lockdown. And so no.
Hey, original. Hold 1 second. I'm gonna mute everybody. We have somebody requesting to speak. Is there anybody that wants to volunteer that's not speaking right now and move down so we can bring a person up? If not, then the person may just have to wait. But is anybody? If anybody wants to remove themselves just temporarily from the speaker. Well, I saw a couple of y'all leave. Okay, okay. Would y'all get ready because y'all can come back up in a second. So, but go ahead, original.
Yeah. So now I find that ironic. Oh, I'm getting some feedback. Okay, there we go. I find that ironic, whereby they want to say that this rap music is degrading these other people, white folks, but yet when all that stuff was starting, when the Jews started pushing gangster rap and everything back in the I say late 80s and throughout the 90s, the depiction was this is just how black people live. This is who they are. Now all of a sudden, it's the music that's causing these people to do this. Well, we already know how evil white people are by nature anyway. So no, find something else. And then I want to say this too now. According to the law, when I forget which group of people filed for reparations, I think it was back in the 90s, and the judge gave them specific things to do. And I think one of the things is that reparations cannot be filed on the auspices of race. And that's because if you do it under the auspices of race, it's going to include some of everybody who has no business being in this. And that's what has to be looked at because this has nothing to do, as I said before, this has nothing to do with anyone except for the descendants of the people who were enslaved. And as we know, our enemy is always trying to undermine us. Because one of the things that I did today, there was an article that came out, and it stated that the black vote was down during this midterm, and I took that, and I think I responded to Akeem Jeffries. He put something out there. I made a point to put it to no good Raphael, saying that they're stating that the black vote was down, and I'm letting them know we are not coming out to vote unless you include lineage-based, and I always say lineage-based reparation. I don't just say reparations because that's, in my opinion, that is too vague. And we have to be specific in how we say this. And we have to get as many people on code and make sure that they do this as well. And I don't know if y'all remember, what's the brother name that came from Trevor Noah? When somehow the topic of reparation came up on his show, and I think about maybe two no more than 3 years ago. So then this white boy standing up in the audience, and he got talking about, well, what about the poor white people? And Trevor told him, he said, well, no, this is about black people, and I don't think he
said, he didn't use the word lineage, but he just said black people and the American government. Well, at least he gave us that much to say between us and the government. But going forward, people need to look and understand and say, this is about the black people who were the descendants of the people who were enslaved in this country, not just black people in the American government, because that can include black people from anywhere. And as we know, these are the tethers. They would not include us with anything. You know, but I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this tape, because I was knocked out. I was woke up and said, "Oh man, let me see if they're still on." But I just want to say that because at the same time, you know, and what I'm looking at too, we are going to have to go after some of these elected officials and some of these so-called community activists and others, whereby they will try to allow other people to be included. Because as we know, some of these, we know about the Congressional Black Caucus and other elected officials across this state, across this country, on the local and state level. But we are going to have to be adamant about this, that no, we are not going to compromise on this. Because at the end of the day, when the Indians got their reparation, black people were not included. When the Japanese got their reparation, the black people, we were not even mentioned at all. And we have been done worse than any of these groups. And here they are, they giving other people stuff. And I guess at the time, we had the grassroots wasn't as organized as we are today. And see, and that's what, you know, the internet has done for us. You know, because I remember when the internet started, they always talk about, oh, the World Wide Web. Oh, that's a spider web. It's going to try to catch up. Yeah, it caught us all right. It caught us together, and we're going to continue to be together. So I just want to say that, and then I'm going to land, and I hope I did not repeat anything that someone else had repeated already. You know, because we have to take this, and what we may have to do also is that find out someone who has the right mindset in like Rhode Island, and maybe we may have to kind of organize some people to go up there and speak, because they don't know. And according to their logic, we all look alike. They don't know who we are. We can just go there and speak, or just go there and just go there for support the black people that are there. But we are definitely going to have to knock this, push this out of the way like everything else, because everybody hate us, and this right here is nothing but like slavery, because they only see us when there's money involved. That's it. And I'm gonna land with that.
All right, original. Appreciate you, brothers, always. If you miss a little bit, I know you say you fell asleep. That happens. So you go ahead. You know, we record the space, so you can always go back and catch up on it and whatnot. So definitely, we definitely had some good talking points early. So if you miss it and you want to catch up on it, by all means, go ahead and check out that recording. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Yo,
What's going on, man?
hold on, bro. My bad. What's up, bro? Yeah, I appreciate you letting me speak, bro. I'm in traffic. I just want to say with the Russia thing, you know, that I think it's a thing where they see that they losing their culture. Everybody is drawn to us. Everybody want to be like us. Everybody is celebrating our culture. You know what I'm saying? So him trying to blame us, that's just a cop out. It's just they ain't really got no good culture that people like. Like they ain't really people like what we doing. We are very important on this planet, whether we know it or not. You know what I mean? Like everybody want to be like us. We got the whole world calling themselves niggas. I don't think y'all really understand how serious that is. To where these people calling themselves niggas, they want to be our slur. That's how dope we are. They want to be like us. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't celebrate their culture. Our culture is all over the world. Our culture is, well, let me say this. Them cosplaying our culture is going to become world culture. them cosplaying us, dressing like us, walking like us, talking like us, wanting to be like us. That's becoming world culture. These people are willing to argue and fight with us about being a nigga. That's serious. They watch everything we do. We are very, very important on this planet. If we raise up a black power fist when we going through a struggle. Now, any struggle you see anywhere in the world, watch the hands in the crowd. Watch all the uprisings and all that. Everybody throwing up a fist now. They mimicking us. And I feel as though that they see what's happening. They know who we is, though. To be honest with you, they know who we is. We God's people. Period. If the Bible is true, it's got to be us. That's what all the panic all around the world is about. That's why everybody just keep throwing themselves on us. Is anytime these people got a problem or anything, they don't even address the problem. They come bring their problem to us. They figure out a way to crowbar themselves in our way. So for real, to me, it's flattering that they mention us and we don't even think about them. We don't know nothing about no rest. I appreciate you letting me speak, bro.
No problem, brother. As always, you're more than welcome to speak. And let's also not forget one thing too that's important as well too. They feel like they may be losing their culture and everything that's going on by the music, and they see that some of their kids are taking on a rebellious identity of pretty much F authority and the police and this and that. So they've seen some of the stuff that goes on over here in America and the rebellious nature that black people have had and had no choice but to have. But also too, they're also a little bit scared too that you lose your culture, but you also lose them women too. They scared that some of them Russian women gonna come over here and start getting with black men and start having black babies and stuff like that too. So that's always don't ever forget that that's always in the back of their mind as well too. They know about the history of white men and taking advantage of black women, and they're like, oh Lord, well black men don't have to take advantage of your women because your women naturally want to be with a lot of them anyway. So in the back of their mind, they think about that as well too. So that's something to always remember. Let me go ahead and kick it to we're gonna kick it to Trouble. Then we're gonna get to you, Wilson. Miss Engaging, I don't know, did you have your hand up too? I know you had your hand up earlier. Maybe he spoke earlier, but let's go ahead. We'll get to Trouble, then we'll get to Wilson. So Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, I just wanted to say real quick while y'all was talking about the culture. If they had some culture worth having, they wouldn't be worried about losing. They have historical, barbaric type culture. So of course they listen. Europe didn't send their best. You know, they came over here to this country. I think I was reading one time how Australia was sending their people over here. Europe was sending. They were sending the degenerates. They were sending the idiots that they wanted to get rid of from their own place. They were sending them over here to America. You know, so it was somebody was saying it. I was sitting here cracking up to myself. That's what I do. I crack up to myself. And now the trouble trying to say about the other people. They didn't send their best. Nah, fool. Y'all did not send y'all best when you sent them over here. Now you worried about black people and coming in and destroying what little culture you thought you had. No, because you only had barbaric type culture. But at the same time, you told you just hit on something that one hunted. They're looking at the fact that for the longest period of time, black people have had this resilient spirit about them. And no matter how many times you knock us down, we get back up swinging. We don't swing, we swing. We get up swinging. We got this rebellious nature about us, and they're afraid of that. They're afraid of their children looking at black culture to switch and flip the switch up on them and them acting like, what, you don't want the children to act like us? Well, then maybe if you didn't want your children to act like us, maybe you should have left us the fuck alone. Maybe you should have left us alone and let us be the kind, empathetic, loving people that we wanted, because the only thing we wanted was peace of mind. The only thing we wanted was freedom to be human in the nature in which God created us to be. But you wanted to make us something different through the harshness and the atrocities that you set on our people, and you're afraid you're about to get it back. Not only are you afraid you're about to get it back from us, but you're afraid that the children is watching us and teaching them how to now treat you. So there's that.
Real talk, sister. Like I said, and you're right. If their culture was all that, and let's not forget, Russia's always been the garbage can of Europe, anyways. Too, they've always been the forgotten people, and the only reason that like I said, that they have anything worth going for is because of location, because they just couldn't be conquered because it's so damn cold over there. So nobody wanted to risk losing everybody trying to conquer them. Nobody cares what Russia thinks. Wilson, how you doing tonight? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, how's everybody?
How you doing?
Good, good, good. Hey, Twin, how you doing?
What up, Twin? What up?
Yeah. So, I want to just point out that in Europe, when you reference Black people, it's not Black Americans; it's Africans. Europe's perspective of Black people is based on Africans primarily in various countries in Europe. I mean, they catch hell over there. And so, when we travel there as tourists, there's always that warning, be very careful, because you see, initially, some, not all, may approach you like they would approach Africans. There's a distinct difference in the way we look and the way we dress, the way we carry ourselves. And so, when they look at us, the first thing, obviously, they're going to see is Black, but then they'll realize, okay, this is not what we're used to. And that's been my lived experience on the various times that I've been through Europe. As far as Russia is concerned, my experience on a business level is that they're very racist people. I've never, it's like a feeling. A lot of it too is one of shock, because again, what they're used to dealing with in Black people in their country, when they deal with people on a business level here, Black American people, it's a whole nother level they're just not used to, So that's been my lived experience, not only in Europe, but throughout Asia. I've done a lot of business in Asia. Those people, they apply what they have experienced and things they've seen on television to us, and they get a different type of reaction. They get a resistant type of reaction from us, as opposed to the pious, pliable reaction of African people. They're used to. What was I going to say? Something that has been laying on my spirit. I've just been out of town, and I'm really pissed off, and it goes to us as people. And no one is going to take us seriously until we take ourselves seriously and our votes seriously, and just the way we handle things seriously. I saw a snippet of Charles Barkley on CNN, a morning show on CNN, spewing diarrhea about the Black community and how we, according to him, mistreat the LGBTQ community. Here's our leadership. No one, at least I could be wrong and somebody can correct me, but the kind of smoke that he should have been getting from the Black community and the smoke to ESPN should have been where he should have just paid some money towards a foundation as a sorry, as an apology to the bullshit that he spread about Black people mistreating the LGBT community. That was a very reckless, a very lazy, a very dangerous statement based on nothing. And nothing. I mean, I don't know. Nothing. And so, how people treat us.
I think
sometimes we have to make our own people example.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit, sister.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm breaking up now, but what I'm saying to you is that when we talk about how people treat us, we have to be able to understand that we have to teach people how to treat us, even our own people. Charles Barkley should have been punished harshly for that statement. That's a statement that no one has challenged him on. Even Don Lemon, sitting up there with his compromised self, should have asked him, what, based on what is he saying this for? Based on what? You know, this wasn't even a topic while he was on that show. And he just spewed it out. We can't afford to have people shit on us anymore. We have got to be able to give them the kind of smoke like the Israelites gave when they stood up there in Brooklyn and marched on behalf of Kyrie Irving. That type of respect. So, you know, we don't have the kind of politicians that are going to do it. So we have to vote the kind of politicians that we want to speak on our behalf. And until we get out there and vote the people out and vote the people in that we want, we will always be shitted on. Because no one's going to respect us if they see that we can't even fight the very people who look like us and prevent them from spilling out this kind of bullshit that they say, which is harmful to us. And I rest my case there. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
30-second response, brother.
Yeah, real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but they do respect us. They don't like us, but they respect us. If they didn't respect us, they wouldn't talk about us. Yeah, we got our cool, but our cool comes from a specific and unique antagonistic energy that no other people have to embrace. We have the Charles Barkley, those people, but they're there for a very specific reason. So that is respect. The enemy don't have to like you, but he just does respect us. They're watching us. And the other thing about the act, they don't know what Africans are versus Black Americans. No, they actually do. These are intelligent people. They have intelligence apparatus. And they even said that we were bots. We were the Russians. They're watching us. They're in this room right now. They're analyzing all this America. They want to look for a point of entry. They want America to compromise. They want us to be the point of compromise because we're at war with our government. So although I understand what you're saying, sister, that we need to be more represented, but the fact of the matter is, it's always been our position, our posture. We are not represented in government as we should be. We're still respected. They know how we fight. If we die fighting, that's what we're doing. It doesn't matter if we have homes and whatever else, but they are watching us. Don't get that twisted. Respect to you, sister. I might be wrong.
My experiences in Europe with business, strictly on a business level, my extensive experience with Asia is strictly business. And I can tell you from my own lived experience for years that the way there are some that will initially size you up and then realize, you know, either talking to you right away or just looking at the way you carry yourself, they know there's a distinct difference between a Black person from America and African. They treat you, I've seen it, they treat you differently, okay? And that's why the Chinese come to this country and they think that they can mistreat, or Asian in general, mistreat you based on how they treat Africans in their own country. And they realize very quickly here that they can't do to us what they do to Africans in their country and in the continent of Africa. As far as Europe is concerned, again, my lived experience. I can't speak for everybody, but my lived experience. And, you know, they will size you up quickly. And they know who you are, and they know how to approach it. It's very different than a lot of how they treat those people, those African people. So, you know, when these Africans come here and they've got a lot of smoke for Black American people, I laugh because I see the way they're treated in Europe. I see the way they're treated in Asia, and they can't tell me shit. And, you know, look, this is why we have this forum. Everybody's opinion matters. It may be different. And I don't take offense to what you're saying at all. And that's it.
All righty. Appreciate you as always, sister. Thank you for speaking tonight. Let's go ahead and we got Volvo. We're gonna go to Volvo, Ray, and then me, Professor, and DJ. We're gonna go ahead and probably close this out for the night. So Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh yeah. I just want to say, yeah, they mentioned in our name for a reason. I'm just gonna leave that right there. As far as I just wanted to drop some game on Russia. You know, I study this type shit, and Russia ain't no insignificant country. Russia
it's a reason why America can't tell them shit. They say they gonna sanction them. Russia says so. We going into Ukraine. They say that they don't want no smoke with Russia. Period. It's a reason why America don't want no smoke. It's a reason why these people tough. You know what I'm saying? Don't underestimate these people. These people tough. Them people have been living up there in that snow in the mountains forever. This the only people that's actively on the planet right now, on the planet that we all live on, that's actively right now taking territory. They taking territory right now. They taking shit, and they saying that this is Russia now. They snatching down other people's flags, and they saying this is Russia now. Ain't nobody else doing that on the planet. Ain't nobody else doing that right now. And America can't do nothing to stop them for a reason. Them people are very important over there in Russia. That's the biggest continent in the world. I mean, the biggest country in the world is Russia, and they only getting bigger. So y'all, please don't sleep on them people and think them people stupid or none of that. I would tell y'all to study, look into who these people are. Like we live on the planet with these people, so we should know who everybody is because they've been watching us. Why you think they mention our name? So you need to go and look at after this space closed. Read a book on them or watch a documentary or something on them. Look at some YouTube videos on them. Because these people are very important on this planet. They very important to the whole. They so big. They in Europe and they in Asia. They on both of the continents, which they connected. But that's another story. But that's how big they is. It's a reason why China is siding with them. Like these people ain't dumb. They ain't dumb. So I just wanted to drop that game on you, bro. I appreciate you. Let me speak.
As always, no problem, brother. So we got a couple hands. So let's go. Okay, because we're gonna let Brother McCool and Original be the last two speakers for the night. So let's go ahead and get to Brother McCool, and then I believe it might be Original. Then we're gonna get to Ray, DJ, and Professor, and then I'll get the final say. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Brother McCool.
Okay, fam. Yeah, I just want to say, we ain't got no friends. You know what I'm saying? Russia ain't never been our friend. You know what I'm saying? Y'all knew that back in the Rocky movie when he killed Apollo Creed. There wasn't no love for us back then. Ain't no love for us now. So all I got to say about Russia is, Mr. Pushkin. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember the first Russian was a black Russian that put him down the game. I mean, we always put them down with game, and they always trying to, make us the scapegoats. That's nothing new. But I posted in the chat, you know what I'm saying, definitely just pressing up the new Newstoter hoodies, you know what I'm saying, fresh off the press. So everybody check it out. You know what I mean? It's on BeMoreCodified.com, genderwear, where we say it without chest, and also, obviously, you're back now.
Yes, sir. And yeah, he's pressing them up. So make sure once we go ahead and get them done, we're going to go ahead and put them out there, Brother McCool. Definitely got to go ahead and y'all go ahead and snatch up that Newstoter hoodie. If you can, go ahead and snatch it up if you can, Brother McCool. And y'all definitely check his site out as well, too. Be More Codified. Y'all got to definitely go ahead and check the brother's site out as well, too. So we're trying to go ahead and do some things. Let's go ahead and kick this to Original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what Brother McCool was talking about is Alexander Pushkin. He is considered the father of all Russian literature, and he was black. I know Dr. Renoko Rashidi, back in I think it was in the 90s or early 2000s, he was contacted by the Russian government because he had done such extensive research on Alexander Pushkin that he was asked to come over to Russia and lecture on Alexander Pushkin. So I just want people to understand that, because one of the things that we have to do is, I know some people, they are, they don't want to study any history, but, just, Black American history. But as Dr. Clark and others said, we have to study everybody so that when they try to pull game on us, we can sit them straight. Yes, you want to know your own, but know about other people as well. But what I put my hand back up for, Brother Brother Newstoter, is that I flipped on CNN, and I don't know if you brought this up earlier, but they were discussing, although I still have issues with LeBron. Now, LeBron should not have came out right away and started attacking Kyrie. He should have said, well, considering I don't know all the parameters of the situation, I'm going to have to see what's going on before I make a comment. That's what all these people should have done. But they just jumped right out there when they said, well, Kyrie did this. Kyrie's anti-Semitic. Ain't no such thing as anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic is, if you look at them sideways, oh, you're being anti-Semitic towards me. But they were discussing this, and I'm like, oh, okay, now, because see, what happened is, if anyone didn't see this, there was a video that was put up where LeBron was in this press conference. I guess they had a game. And at some point, he said, you all haven't asked me anything about Jerry Jones. But when this issue came up with Kyrie, y'all came out on the attack. What are your opinion about Kyrie? They don't give him a chance to say, well, considering I don't know anything about this, I need to get more information. They want them to attack another Black person just to make themselves feel good. Because see, one of those reporters that was kept pressing Kyrie when this thing first happened, he was Black, and he worked for the I think it's the New York Post, and he was Black. He kept and when Kyrie said, I can't be anti myself, he said, well, that's not anti-Semitic, because anti-Semitic has a broad category. If you accidentally step on one of these fools' toes, oh, you're being anti-Semitic. It is stupid. And if you read this book, The Holocaust Industry, David Finkelstein, the guy named is Finkelstein, and he said that they have done nothing but use this as a way to shake people down, and that's it. So I just wanted to say that although, like I say, I still have issues with LeBron, because he should have known better than to just come out and take the enemy side with Kyrie. Now, I'm glad there's something about this issue, but at the same time, they're going to have to do better themselves when it comes to making comments on another Black person, and they don't know what the parameters are. And I'll land with that, because I knew y'all about to close the shop tonight.
All right, brother. Original, as always, thank you. Thank you once again. Always one of our better speakers. Appreciate having you once again. I'm going to go ahead and let Ray, Professor, DJ, y'all go ahead and get a say in there. Ray, I know you got your hand up, so go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. For a couple of, I ain't gonna say an hour, like an hour or so, I've been kind of monitoring. I know it's very off topic, but I wanted to let everybody know. I've been monitoring Kanye's his Twitter page. This brother, I really believe this brother's having a nervous breakdown. But this is just a couple of tweets. He has a Star of David with a swastika, saying he has posts saying he's a Black skinhead. He said that Chris Paul slept with Kim Kardashian. I mean, it's just so random. He just said, I stand with Balenciaga. Porn ruined my marriage. This brother's having a breakdown right in front of our eyes. It done got sad. I just want to let our family know about that.
Yeah, he's been having a breakdown for a minute too, brother. He really has for a minute.
Yeah, since his mom passed away. So, I'm not a fan of him or whatever, but hopefully your brother can get his things straight and whatnot. And he needs to go ahead and leave that right wing conspiracy, redneck stuff along as well too. I know you're trying to get you a new fan base and you're trying to fit in with these people, but he needs to go ahead and try to get himself straight out as much as possible. And like I said, I'm not a fan of Kanye, but hopefully the brother can get himself straightened out. Professor,
I mean, I get it, bro. It's very traumatizing when you lose your mother. I lost my mother. I lost my father about 6 months after I lost my mother. That's not an excuse to start cooning, though.
Oh, you're right. I agree with you. And his mom has been gone for a while too. So like his life has gone on and stuff like that. But he's just gonna have to go ahead and get it together, man.
What if we can't get it together though? We might just have to throw him in the trash. Like I'm that type of person, bro. I just throw you away. Like man, you unfixable. Just go over there, man.
Real talk.
I don't believe in throwing away any of our people like that unless they just do some shit that really against us to the point that they trying to really hurt us. But what Kanye's doing, y'all, is hurting himself. See, that's what Ray is talking about. He's doing a lot of shit that's really just showing us the mentality right now that he's in. He's having a mental breakdown, and he's been having this for a while. So this brother is going through some shit. I don't feel like we need to just throw him away because of the mental breakdown. But if he was just a person that was out here that was evil and just said, I don't give a fuck about nobody, I'm gonna hurt you, I don't give a shit. But that's not what's going on here, y'all. This dude is hurting himself right now.
Yeah, this my right. Yeah, you're right though, brother. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, y'all, real quick, let me see, because I'm gonna let Wilson get one last comment in here real quick, y'all, because I do want to go ahead and close the space out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give her like maybe about a minute to go ahead and say something. So Wilson, go ahead and unmute your mic, and you're gonna be the actually last speaker that we taking in tonight.
Just real quickly, I just want to remind everybody just the egregious manner in which he has always spoken about Black women and the Black community. And I've written him off from that point on. And this is another example of when we should have checked him a long time ago. And I do know that, do feel that he's having a nervous breakdown, and I feel bad for him, and it's on the world stage, but he's doing it to himself. But, I can only go but so far with my empathy because of the manner in which he has always spoken of Black women and the Black community. Our Black men should have checked him years ago. And this is well before he made the statement about our ancestors and how slavery was a choice. He has been speaking ill about Black women and the Black community for a long time. And that should have been, and according to an article by Charles Blow in the New York Times, that should have been the pivotal moment when we checked his Black ass hard. And we didn't. And that's another example of people looking at it and saying, oh, look, see, even somebody like Kanye West can talk bad of them, and nobody says that everybody's comatose. And that's from what I was saying earlier, he's a perfect example. To protect our Black women, we are a moving target, like all Black people. But women, our Black women, we are always a target, and we need our men to protect us. Even somebody like Kanye West, check his ass hard, because he's not allowed to speak ill of Black women and the Black community. Never, ever, no one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna let you be the last speaker for the night. So anybody that's requesting, that tries to come up, y'all, because this is gonna be the last speaker officially tonight. Then we're gonna go ahead and let the co-hosts and stuff close it out. The host close it out. So I'm gonna let you get your word in.
Yeah, I'm actually down. I'm doing the same thing Ray is doing. I'm kind of trolling Kanye West's page. I did put my Cash App up there. I was telling people to Cash App me every time Kanye West say something factual. But people are laughing at that because honestly, at this point, I agree with Professor. He's really hurting himself. But it is a mirroring effect, as every time any Black person, whether they are participating raccoons or they are intellectuals, at the end of the day, the mirroring effect happens where we are all impacted. So I'm not in the business of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but Kanye West is making some decisions that and eventually will impact his whole entire brand. So if that is the destruction impact that we are seeing that are happening to our Black men, just know it don't matter if we have gender wars or whatever. We have to cure the cancers. We have to get to a point where we actually recognize even those who become destructive into themselves, that we are protecting our community in our image. And if that means that, we have to let them be on an island by themselves at the moment, we let them be on an island by themselves, and we push back hard as we are going to do with everyone else when things are not factual. The other thing is he mentioned in regards to, I think, Chris Paul and all that other stuff happening, Kanye West chose the women that he's with, right? His mother didn't get to choose the son that she had. She was birthed with a son, and there's a difference. His father was birthed, gave a seed to the mother that birthed him. So I want to put it out there that we have to stop talking about it in the impact of not just uniting our families, but talk about it in a means that we all understand Black men and Black women need protection and covering, and there are roles in how that's done. And then shout out to Black American Homeland, the original person of the Black American migration conversation. And hopefully you'll get a chance to hear about that soon in regards to Charles Blow. But again, I really, really want us to really start to put up all of the gates, lock them, and prepare our fortress, because we are not just at war with other communities. We have wars, many wars that we are also battling. Mental health is one of them, and things that impact our mental health is our lack of resources, our lack of repair, and the fact that we also have work to do. So I want to leave that with you all, and if we have a part two to a room tonight, I'm open. And thank you so much, Newstoter, Ray, Professor, and all of the beautiful people that are always engaging in constructive conversation, because we all we got, seriously. All right. Peace.
Peace. Thank you, sister, as always. Love having you come up here and speak as well, too. So thank you, Ree. Professor, Ray, you got your hand back up?
Yeah, I didn't get the pants what I was gonna say. I want to let all the family go though. Sister, if you about to get $1 for everything Kanye West say crazy, just like that box. I gotta quote that box off of Harlem Nights. You getting ready to be a rich nigga. I just wanna. I'm sorry, y'all.
I know how he said it. That was funny how he said, well, you getting ready to be a rich nigga.
That's good.
Hey, Professor, you got it. Go ahead.
Look, I just want to leave this with you, Black American family. Whatever we do, stay on code against all these people, because we're being hit, of course, here in the country. We're being hit now, of course, internationally. It's like we're just being hit from every direction. But no matter what, we got to stay with each other, stay on code. Now, we're not going to get along with each other all the time. We know this. But still, we can bring it together for situations like this, because we are in a war with everybody. Everybody. And they're coming at us from all different angles, and we just don't know where they're coming from. They're hitting us from everywhere. And I'm just saying, everybody stay together. Let's talk about the reparations. Let's keep each other informed about different issues, such as what we can do to get police reform. And when I say police reform, I'm talking about I'm talking about qualified immunity. We need to get that stricken, so these police officers can't keep going out here killing us and doing all this crazy stuff. We need to talk about healthcare. We need to talk about education, quality education, where we can go to school for free. We need to do things to keep ourselves update, so our people can stay in the knowledge and be aware of everything that we need to get, okay, in regards to our health, our concerns, our well-being, making sure that our mental situation is, and I know Sister Willa spoke on that, is our mental is being hit real bad right now. This country, because of the systemic racism, has just really messed us up, messed up our psyche and everything. So this is why we have to stay with each other. and be loving towards each other as much as we can. Okay, I land my plane there.
All right, DJ. I don't know if you're doing a space tonight or not, but go ahead and get what you got to say in there, bro, real quick.
Everybody said, agree to agree on that note. And what I want to say. Again, the reparations thing, state reparations, it ain't everything because the federal is the real deal. So we need to always concentrate on the federal. Don't let the state be the only thing that they ain't gonna make us assume that we're entitled to. Again, the state reparations is really the smaller check. We want to go for our federal check. So with that being said, if you still can have an opportunity to obtain your money locally, then go get it. And you are entitled to any type of programs, provisions, any type of monies because you are a United States citizen, born and raised, aka Native Black American. So with that being said, on the hip hop level, we created all the music in the world, so ain't no need to be mad because they mad. And you can't control your people, Russia, for the most part. Control your people, man. You know what I mean?
Real talk, real talk. Are you doing a space tonight or not tonight?
I don't know. It is. Hey, like I said, me doing spaces, that's up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to continue the conversation, let me know. I'll start up a room. You know what I'm saying?
Because
go in there, go
hey, DJ.
I know.
If you do, I'm gonna come through for a quick minute, man. Especially if we're gonna talk about that Kanye, because I don't know if y'all seen that thing he did with Alex Jones. You know how fucking crazy you got to be.
I like Hitler, Ray. I like Hitler, Ray. Come on, Ray. He never did that. I like Hitler.
Ray, I'm with you, man.
Hey,
yeah, we can talk about that one.
Hey, real quick, yeah. I was gonna say real quick.
Alex Jones looking at you like, damn, I thought I was crazy. You know that man out of his mind.
I was gonna say real quick, yeah, DJ, go ahead and start a space up because I got to bounce, Mr. Engaging. I know you want to talk, but DJ's gonna start a space up, so I got to go ahead and take care of something. I'll be there when I get a second, y'all. So let me just say to everybody in the space, peace and thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for supporting the platform as always. I appreciate all of our speakers, listeners, the contributors, everybody who contributed on Cash App, everybody who always. Let me give a shout out to Cognitive as well too. I see him down there in the space as well too. Cognitive always he shows support and love to the platform as well too. So let me just say shout out to all you guys. Make sure y'all hit DJ Space Up coming. I'm gonna come up in there when I get a chance in a second as well too. So y'all, let's go ahead and carry this thing over and let's have everybody come up in there for a little bit. I know it's probably getting late, can't be in there too long, but if you just pop your face up for a few minutes and get up in there, definitely be appreciated. Let me give a shout out to Professor too, filling in for co-host tonight, for DJ as well too. I appreciate that as well, Professor. You're always up in the spot, always showing support and love too. So let me go ahead and just wish y'all all we won't be back on to probably Monday next week, or maybe possibly Sunday, probably Monday, but I'll be sending out the DMs and tweets and everything else, guys. So tomorrow we'll definitely have a Friday. We put out a lot of content. So when you see the Newstoter putting out Black news, y'all go ahead and tweet it out, retweet it out and everything, and like it and comment. And once again, thank you guys for making this a great space tonight. As always, we had some great spaces this week, and I appreciate everybody that comes up in here and shows support and love. So thank you guys, and I'm going to catch y'all in DJ space. Peace.